Okay, as I am avoiding or rather dodging attack. Oh, I failed. Let me restart. So yeah, playing Final Fantasy 16 right now.
You
We
playing
got
right
a
now,
lot.
sir? Oh my god.
Hey,
Jesus
we got a lot to
Christ,
talk
man.
about.
This
So
this man can't be
unprofessional.
stopped.
When I am the one that's hosting, I'm not gonna be able to play because I need to pay attention. So this
So
might
you
be
have to pay
the last
attention
time
now.
I
What?
host. I play.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
god.
um,
This is why you never
before
hear what the things we say, Omar.
lady, before we start, shout out to Innate and also special shout out to Weeb because of these two, I officially joined PC Waiter Race. Um, it took me a while, but I got there, and my 4070 is looking real good right now. Um, enough about that. Episode 81 of Game Player gave people enough time to play Final Fantasy 16. I actually wanted to do a review of it, like a spoiler talk, but nobody here has beaten it yet, including myself. So we're just gonna go overview of it, what we like, what we dislike, and most importantly, what's next for the future of Final Fantasy. But hey, where are my manners? Before we start, Morgan, how are you? What you been playing?
I'm good. I'm good. I've been playing course Final Fantasy. Finally jumped back on it after a few days of hiatus, but it's still just as good as I was enjoying it from the demo so far. Can't say how it'll go for me later, but thus far I'm enjoying Final Fantasy. Um, Played some Uno online with Nate and Kay. That was fun. Also played some Jurassic. I think it was what Jurassic World Evolution 2. That was on PS Plus. That was fun. Building your park for the dinosaurs and stuff. And of course, I had to get the feather pack for Weeb, because he wouldn't approve it unless I get
Thank
the
you. Thank you.
exactly. Yeah, I had to get that for you, Weeb. I know you don't approve unless the dinosaurs are feathered. So,
As they should
um,
be.
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Trying to think. Anything else I've been playing? Um, no, that's basically been it. But it's been a fun week of gaming though.
Mm-hmm, gotcha. Weeb, what you been? How are you? What you been playing?
I'm good. Thank you for asking, Omar. Um, I've been playing, of course, the games of the year, Redfall. Just kidding. Uh, of
Bruh.
course,
Are we back to the respawn joke? I thought that died with the game being dead.
That'll
But
never
apparently
die.
I
we're reviving
That'll
it.
never not be
it,
funny.
yeah, the game will die, but the jokes won't.
Ah, the game is already dead. That's why I'm confused why we're
Yeah,
making jokes
No, we're
of
waiting on the
a.
60
No, man,
FPS
the
patch
60
though. That's
FPS
that
not
patch,
that
fair.
bro.
We still have to wait on that.
that
Oh,
it
we're
will.
gonna talk about Redfall. Apparently, Microsoft is not happy with the sales, so we're gonna
Oh,
talk about
That
that.
that that ain't news.
oh, oh damn, oh damn.
Another
What
day at
did I do?
Microsoft.
What did I do? Shit, should have shut
Nice
my
job,
this
Weeb.
time. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. I
Sorry,
didn't.
Redfall. You're
I
sorry,
did. I
Weeb.
didn't expect Omar to be. That Omar. But
Sorry, Weeb.
yeah,
Your go-to
yeah.
game.
I've been playing, of course, Final Fantasy 16. And I'm not as far as you are, Omar, of course, because yeah, you are crazy with your gaming time. Um, but yeah, I think I'm a little bit farther than Nathan and Morgan.
No,
But yeah,
Innate
I'm
is
enjoying.
farther than you, I think.
All right, okay. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Have thoughts about it, but yeah, I mean it's yeah, it's great. I mean, I love the story. Love the cinematic feel it has to it, the music,
Mm-hmm.
especially the
Yep.
voice acting. I mean, that should just crazy
Mm-hmm.
how good it is. Um,
If you're
yeah, it's
playing
pretty.
a sub or dub.
Um,
We can hear the clicking of your controller, Omar.
Oh,
you,
never
It's
mind.
loud.
Never mind. I'm gonna
Omar,
I'm gonna stop.
Jesus Christ, you lied. Like you just
Hey,
said, I
Sir,
can't
that
play the
man's
game when I
ADHD.
have to be the
That
host,
man's
and
I'm a game
ADHD
addict.
levels are
Hey,
you,
real.
you,
I'm a
and
game addict.
you got
The addiction is
exposed.
real.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, man. No. Yeah, well, that's a good question, Omar, because what's it up in this case? Because I think the English voice track is technically the original voice track, so
Yep.
I'm basically playing it sub then, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I'm playing a
Um,
sub as well. That's why I was asking.
okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, so that's it, I guess. So, Nate, over to you. Oh,
Yeah, it's
He's falling
just
asleep every time he touches it.
No, it's just hard to look in the eyes of greatness sometimes. You know, it's just
yeah, yeah.
blinding.
no, no.
I understand.
After
I
spending
understand.
so many hours in Redfall, yeah,
I
Hmm.
mean, I mean, it's just the side quests were killing me, man. I was in like a heavy side quest
Yeah.
location.
No, he wasn't. Like the side quests are the best part. Don't listen to this man.
It was killing me. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, what am I doing here? Like, can we just hurry this along? So yeah, I
Oh, you
found
tell me you're not having fun delivering, literally serving food to the people?
yeah, I mean that I did a couple walk here, go back in the tavern, walk back. Hey, there you go. It was just weird. I don't know. So that had me falling asleep. But I mean, once I got back to the main quest, that finally kicked up a notch after we stopped sneaking around. And that location was really beautiful. As so, quite a few of the locations are in this game. Um, it's I'm enjoying it more now that I've pressed the story a bit more. This part has been a lot more interesting, introducing a lot more mainline supporting characters and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I don't know how I'll feel about the game ultimately in the end, but that's the main thing I've been playing. I also, of course, like Morgan said, we played some intense games of Uno with Kay and her daughter. So those were fun, and I did also try the Jurassic Park Evolution. Um, but I will admit on that currently, Morgan is definitely the master because my park is struggling right now.
My park is fantastic. Just know that.
Thriving
So,
out
Only
there.
about
what
only
is
about
what
5 deaths so
is
far.
what
should
is
have
Jurassic
bought a
Park
feather bed,
Evolution?
Nate.
What is it?
I know that's this problem.
What
You
is
said
Jurassic Park Evolution?
it's
What type of
basically
gameplay
like
does it have?
it's like Roller Coaster Tycoon, like where you build like a
Okay,
park, but with Jurassic Park
okay,
stuff. Like
Yeah, basically.
I got you.
Yeah, so I like those
I
type of
had a
games in
feeling it's gonna
general.
be something like that.
I usually play those type of games on PC, but this one works pretty well on console. They did a good job, and being
Mm,
on the PS5 version is like 4K 60 and everything. Like it looks really good. So um, yeah, I mean I've been enjoying that. Uh, Trying to pull myself back over to Diablo to try to get ready for the season because that's coming. So it's just I don't know, man. There's just so much to play and so much takes X amount of time, and I'm also
Yeah,
wanting to get back to Tears of
crazy.
the Kingdom
mm-hmm.
because I've actually been enjoying Tears of the Kingdom. Um, the good thing about that game is the way that it's laid
he's a
out.
Nintendo. I'm telling y'all, he's a Nintendo now.
Yeah,
It's
he has to say that he's not allowed to
Which game?
criticize the kingdom,
Hmm.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh,
or
oh,
has to sleep on the
you're
couch, right?
enjoying it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I was enjoying it a lot. The good thing is the way the game's built, though. Like I can't really forget what I'm doing and the game's controls aren't like incredibly complex, so um, it's one of those I can kind of delay going back to. Like I'm really just trying to push
Mm,
Final Fantasy 16 right now, largely because we're reaching that point where people just stop caring and start posting spoilers all over the damn timeline.
yeah,
Mm.
So yeah, I gotta kind
that's
of push
why.
if I don't want to be spoiled. Um,
Yeah.
and so, like I said, the recent part that I played through in the main story was pretty good. Um, which, like we said, the overarching story so far is good. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm gonna be calling this game a masterpiece by the time I'm done, like some people all over my timeline. Uh, but I'm back to enjoying it. I think I'm gonna be along the lines where people who have gotten through it, and just kind of agree that the game's got some really high highs and some really low lows. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we're gonna talk about the
yeah,
lows and the highs.
yeah, that's what I've been playing.
As for
By
me,
the way,
Final Fantasy.
wait, hey, Nate,
Yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
can I ask a question? You said you're liking Tears of the Kingdom, but you didn't like Breath of the Wild, or did you?
I did not. I hated Breath of the Wild.
Okay,
So, what's the
interesting.
difference?
There's a massive difference. The fusion system immediately gets rid of the issue I had with the weapon breaking mechanic being so bad because
Mm-hmm.
now a stick that used to break in 2 hits now lasts me, 16 hits because I fused it with a rock. And the
Mm.
amount of weapons is significantly increased. So,
Okay.
yeah, like there's so many weapons lying around all the time and then you can strengthen them on top of that it's just like
Mm-hmm.
a non-issue anymore. So like I still wish they
Okay.
didn't break, but like it's basically negated that issue. Like there's
Mm.
literally it's raining weapons half the time. So
Okay.
and they're
All
all a
right.
lot stronger. So yeah, that's a big reason why I'm enjoying this one over it. Also, it's just better laid out
Yeah.
and it's much more interesting with the fusion mechanic, and some of the other
What do you mean?
mechanics they've
What is the
added.
season mechanic? I never heard of it.
Fusion, the fusion where they fuse weapons together.
Oh, fusion mechanic. Okay, sorry. I had a season.
Yeah. So the fusion
Gotcha.
mechanic, whether it's weapons or building some of the crafts in the game, also being able to use ascend to go through the floor of things and come up on the other side. Like there's just a lot of much more interesting mechanics. Being able to move around the world in specific ways. Um, a lot more
Mm.
of the cooking ingredients and stuff are just a lot more fun. Like everything is just way more fleshed out. It's like honestly, it feels like Breath of the Wild was like a beta, and like this is the real game. Like that's what Tears of the Kingdom
Mm.
Right.
feels like. Yeah, like all these features seem like they were like a must before. So all that stuff being combined, all the new things combined, like just make this game a much better game, much more
Mm.
entertaining.
Fuck me, I have to go try it now, right?
Yeah, it's good, man. I'm
Gotcha.
not gonna hold you. It's really good.
If it's that good, then it's that good. Shout out to them for then
Yeah,
for
I
that.
definitely see it taking Game of the Year. To be honest, so far.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, 16 is not gonna be it,
yeah,
from
16's
what I
definitely
played.
not taking Game of the Year.
Um, Story
See,
wise,
he's a Nintendo now.
I
He say
wish,
talking about its greatness. Oh, okay.
uh,
Uh huh. Yeah.
I
Okay.
wish,
And the
I wish,
mighty have fallen, eh?
I wish it take what you call it JRPG, because the story is amazing with 16 from what I played so far. I'm close.
Yeah, yeah, but they don't like it when we call JRPG, so
I mean, yeah. Okay, so about me, Final Fantasy 16, and also the PC that I bought, I been watched Demon Slayer season 3 all the way through. I'm gonna watch Mob Psychonauts and
yeah,
finish
that's not
off
gaming news,
Horizon.
Omar. We don't care.
Sorry?
He's
That's not
messing
gaming
with
news. We
you.
don't care.
Hey, that's what I've been doing. See me. I've been gaming at Final Fantasy 16. I'm gonna talk about it. After I'm done with my introduction, which I'm done. 16 Final Fantasy 16 for me, and I said it best. It got high and low, and here is what frustrates me about it.
Oh man, he's starting off.
They
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yep.
they sabotage themselves. With everything that they do, right? They do something so wrong that's so baffling that they even do it. So, for example, icon battles are some of the best. Like, I am not joking around when I say this is the best. I have not played 14, so I can comment on 14. Um, this is the best summons have ever been looking design wise. Nah, design is opinion based. I'm talking about the importance they play role wise in the story and also the gravita that they have on the world by itself. The destruction capability, the behemouthness, how big they are, and stuff like that. Like, that's so amazing. The fight, the boss battle. However, when you get the power yourself, you're doing 1% of what they're doing. And that's the sad part. Instead of getting, like for example, I got Titan weapons, I got Titan icon summons. Why can't I have Titan arms replacing my sword? That would bring new gameplay mechanics to the mix. Yes, the circle button give me the block ability and parry, but I'm like, especially when the game is that massive and you're doing 90% of your time you're in the combat, it needed way more versatile, and it's sad part because I really want to love the game. Again, for everything that they do amazing, they shit the bed. Like character design, great, amazing, believable. In combat, they're just dummies. You can, unless it's your dog, you can't point them to anything. You can do combo move with them. I'm like, why? And then you have running. It takes you what a few seconds to be able to run, and sometimes they don't even allow you to run. And it's not even that that it's a story stuff. No, you're just in a place where you're not allowed to run. I'm like, running should have been a button that you press or hold, and you should be able to run.
Yeah,
It's a sad
that was a
thing.
huge miss. The lack of the sprint
Um,
mechanic.
Side quests, a great side quest later down the game. At the beginning, there are a few hidden gems that if you hear that the side quests are bad, you're gonna skip them and you're gonna miss out on genuine world building and great addition to the story. But then there are monotonous side quests where you're literally going and giving people food, literally handing them a plate. I'm like, why do I need that? Why I already know the barriers and their short and the struggles that they have gone through, and you don't need a side quest that isn't even a side quest because I didn't do anything. And then there are side quests where you do something amazing, you not amazing, you find something, and at the end you get rewarded with something so stupid. Something that I can literally find on the side of the road. It frustrates me. Um, is it a Final Fantasy game? Yes, because it's the music. I was in one area and I'm listening and I'm like, this is the music that you hear every single time you're in a crystal area. I'm like, that's freaking amazing. The music is top notch. It's remade. It's the original but then remade. in a way. The dragoon fight, it's like the Final Fantasy love and care is there, but the combat isn't there, and It baffled me because they have the lead designer of Devil May Cry 5 apparently, and he called that game Final Fantasy 16 is magnum opus. Um, I don't know how you can run in Forspoken, but you can't run in 16. You need to take a while. How you have an amazing side quest in Octopath 2, but then you look at 16 and you're like, where are the side quests that are amazing? It frustrates me to no end. Um, I don't know. I'm loving the story. The story is what keeps me going. And every time you get a new icon, a new summon as your weapon, I mean your skill, it's great for the first few hours, and then you go back to spamming whatever moves you have, and then doing the 4 button mash combos and call it a day. And yes, you can juggle them, you can do whatever you want, but you don't need to, and you don't even get the reward out of it, which is frustrating. Um, I really wish it had different weapons, like a bow and arrow, something where it changes up the gameplay.
Making the
It
combat more
really needs that.
versatile.
Yeah, because 90 we talked about what's the most important thing about a gameplay. If your gameplay is not good, everything else is gonna suffer. Like the story is amazing, the voice acting is amazing, the characters are amazing, the music is amazing, the graphics are amazing. The gameplay is lacking. That's just my opinion. And Nate, what's your thought?
I just want
Uh,
y'all to know that he spent 9 minutes and 50 seconds hating on this game.
Not 9 minutes and
How,
50 seconds though.
how
I
was it
timed it.
hate? How was it?
I timed
Look
it.
at
Not
how was it
timing
hate?
it. Oh man.
How was
9 minutes and 55 seconds, but he spent about 1 minute and 12 seconds giving it a compliment, though.
Not
Uh,
timing it.
yep.
how? Okay, I said the story is amazing.
I know
Do
what you
you want
said.
Yeah.
me to go? I can't go into
I'm
spoilers right now.
Nah, I was just saying you give a lot of depth and description when it comes to things you don't like. But you're
Did
very
I not
vague on things that
did
you
I
do.
not give a depth into the description about
Not the whole
the
movie.
music?
No, you
Did
said
I
I like
not?
the music. The music is great.
No,
Boom.
no, no. I explained how the music make use of old themes and remakes them.
Because a
I
lot of the stuff up
explained
here is like
one
really
music
small, so you
theme
probably don't want to
is
get that big.
literally from the
Because
Crystal Room
ordered something
in
over
the
there, it
old
wasn't
Final
that good.
Fantasy. Like now,
So you probably want to
I
stick to
broke
that.
down the good and the bad.
I wouldn't say broke down the good, but it's all right, Omar. It's okay.
How
That's what
how
you
am
want.
I
Come on,
literally
I get.
did you not hear how I praised the boss fight in the
Yes,
game?
yes, I heard that. I'm just saying you spent a lot more time shitting on it than you did, giving it a compliment. That's not a bad
But
thing.
am
It's
I
fine.
but
It's
I'm
fine.
literally doing 90% of the combat. It's combat though. That's the bread and the butter
I
and the
mean,
other 90%
according to the to Twitter, 90% of the game is cutscenes. So
and the other 90% is running, which
Twitter,
is not
what's Twitter?
that
The
much
thing we used to know.
different.
what's Twitter?
And I even defended the side quest when they're good.
Omar,
Innate,
it's
what's your
okay.
thought?
It's
It's
okay.
Omar,
no,
yeah,
no, no, no,
yeah.
no.
You,
Here is
you
the
can't help it,
takeaway.
Omar.
Listen, he's trying to
No,
tag an Nate
no,
in to get
here is
to help him out.
my
Yo,
issue.
Nate.
No, I don't need anybody to
Just
help.
accept who you are, Omar.
We love you for who you are, Omar. It's okay.
My, I don't get it. Am I supposed to cap what and say it's a
Absolutely
best
not.
thin
Absolutely
slice
not.
of bread?
No, we just have you down. It's okay, Omar. We just know. Even when you like games, you know, you'll spend a little bit of time talking about what you like, but then you'll be like, but let me tell you what was wrong about this game.
I didn't
It's
even
okay.
mention. I didn't. Oh my god.
Omar, I'm
Okay,
just fucking with
Innate,
you, Omar.
feel free to disagree with me. I would love to. I would love to hear that I'm wrong.
Oh man. Oh, shout out to Sanctus in the chat though. I see you. um, but yeah. No. I don't know, man. There's so many different ways that you gotta kind of break it down. Um, like you said, I am enjoying the story. You know, the overarching mainline story is has been great so far. Pacing feels a bit crazy when you're doing every side mission, because I mean those can really drag for quite some time, especially in the location I was in before the main story pressed on recently. It took forever to walk around this area, and it's just annoying dealing with some of the side characters because like everything I interacted with in this town was like just a bunch of pompous motherfuckers like acting holier than thou because you know I had a brand on my face. It just you fucking branded,
I know what you're
you
talking
know,
about.
like
Yeah.
constantly, and I'm like, oh my god, these dudes are so fucking annoying. It's like, dude, I could kill y'all in this whole town if I wanted to. Like, calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just that shit is so annoying. Like, I just want to smack the shit out of some of the NPCs in this game. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, like I said, a lot of the side quests have just been like kind of messing up the pacing. And I'm kind of looking at it like that as a whole because I'm like, if someone's playing this game and they want to fully experience it, um, the way that I'm going in and doing all of the side quests, as you know, before I move on to the main area, that's a bit draining. At least though so far. I mean, I know people have talked about stuff getting better later, so on and so forth. So you know, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt, and we'll see. But I mean, that's the key, right? Like I always tell people, like the pacing is so important and in games because you do have a lot of people who are going to give up really early and they're going to be like, oh, this is not it. And I mean, I saw that recently with someone who played for a bit and then they were like, yeah, this is just not it for me. And I know the game gets better and things like that. For me, it takes, if you're doing all the side quests and stuff, it takes way too long to get your third icon in order to not be feel so limited in his button execution, especially if you have one of the larger skills, like the on the Phoenix, where you basically execute like a huge AOE. That skill takes forever to come back. So,
I mean,
if you're doing that,
to be fair, every single one takes forever to come back
yeah, I
if
mean
you do
they're all
them.
pretty slow,
So
but that one's like, I think my main heat wave charges 3 or 4 times before that one comes back. Like that's how slow it is. Which,
yeah,
I mean, I get it.
but
It's an
it's
AOE,
also
but
powerful, and it
yeah.
also heals you.
Well,
That's
and
why.
this is why I said like something like that should have been replaced or something by like the jump button when I press R2, because it should have been like the ultimate skill or something of that set rather than just another skill because it just takes too long to come back. So you should have your mainline set of skills that charge about at the speed that Heat Wave does, and then you can have like an ultimate skill like the Phoenix one that costs like
Oh, I
1600.
would love that.
Yeah,
Cause that, then there is no need to switching your skill. Cause I'm missing out on skills because I'm prioritizing big attacks. I feel you.
exactly.
I like that move. I like that thinking.
Yeah, so they definitely should have had an ultimate like skill, which like the one I mentioned, and then you have your other three skills because it's just really limiting, or at least your other two skills, because obviously the you know the O button is for the mechanic. So whether
Yeah.
that's you know the phase shift or whatever, the Phoenix shift, and then you know when you get the Titan, that's the block and so on and so forth, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I said like that X button should have been something else while I'm at least while I'm pressing R2. You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
trigger it. Like I don't need it to be jump while I'm you know attempting to trigger a skill. Like I could jump and then press R2 and then use the skill if I really wanted to use it in the air. So that's a huge oversight to me, in the way they should have laid it out. You giving me all these skills, and then I'm super limited in the execution of all these skills, and that's annoying.
Mm,
Um, and like I said, it does take quite a long time to get to that point, especially if you're not just pushing through the story, until you get that third icon. So, again, pacing issues, as far as that goes. If you're doing all, at least if you're doing all the side quests, and then of course, a big thing for me, like a lot of people keep mentioning, the combat can be fun, but at the same time, because of the limitation in a lot of your skill execution, at the very least until you start mastering everything, which you also gain points rather slowly. So that's another thing, that mastering them is going to take quite some time as well. So you can start moving things around, because again, you don't gain points all that fast either. Um, so combat can get a bit repetitive, in, the limitations of his skill set isn't really that crazy. And a lot of people keep going, oh, the possibilities, and I'm like, look, there's just not that many button combinations. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know
mm,
people, you can string a couple things together and it looks fancy. And like I said, the execution and the animation quality looks great. Like the animation quality, graphics wise, everything looks really great. So no disputing that there. Um, but yeah, I mean, in a world where you're sitting on, a set of like 18 skills or something, I think for the Phoenix, I don't know, it's got like quite a bit. It's like, and you can literally equip two at least, until you start mastering stuff. But then even if you master stuff, you're still only gonna have, ultimately 6 slots, to be
mm-hmm.
able to execute everything. So it's just, I don't know. There's a lot to it that's just missing, and then of course you get into the stuff that isn't there at all, which is really my main thing, is the RPG mechanics that are missing from this game, that are a staple of a lot of franchises. And like I said, I'm enjoying it for what it is and taking it at face value. But when I look at it kind of from an overall opinion, especially Final Fantasy, I know, again, I know some people haven't really played it, or they've played Final Fantasy very sparsely, but elemental damage is and
Dude.
has always been a staple of the franchise. That is a huge thing. It plays a massive role even in Final Fantasy VII remake. Like it's just I know what they were trying to do with this, and it's in its kind of own realm, but losing that really just brought down the strategic element of the game a ton, on top of uh, not being able to manage your party members, um,
Yeah.
which also takes away again, like somebody mentioned, a lot of exposition that takes place in a lot of Final Fantasies is like the back and forth with your party members and stuff as you're traveling, and when you get to
Mm,
do certain things, and it's like that banter doesn't happen as much, if at all, because whether or not you have your party members in the first place is completely controlled by the game. So
um,
like you
to
have no
be
control over
fair with
that.
that one, it would be very difficult to have a banter with the state of the game that's trying to protect. To protect. That's the problem with that.
I mean, you can they still not having conversations, like that would be ridiculous.
I
Like, I
mean,
mean, they're still
yeah,
human beings.
yeah. I would. So, okay, if you had to choose between conversation or combo mode, what would you take?
I mean, conversations or combos. You talking about extensive combos, meaning having
No,
more?
no, no, no. Okay, so if you had to choose between having conversation with your party members, like banter, or your team be able to execute combo mode with you,
I mean, of course, I
like
would
where
choose
you
the
and
combo moves, because the combat is the most
yeah,
important aspect of this
and
game.
that and yeah, and that is not even there. So there you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like all these things are missing, and things that we've known or played other games that have again been kind of like a staple, for JRPGs in general. and stuff like that. Like things they could have capitalized on, like you mentioned, the combo skills. It's just there's just a lot of misses. As much as there's really things that hit and that are done really well, there's a lot of misses. Like I said, with that. Um, I don't know. The itemization of everything is overly simplistic, which again
Mm-hmm.
streamlines everything for people who don't really know shit about JRPGs and they don't want to deal with it. But it's like again removing that and only giving you two or three options for some basic accessories, and then you're just kind of moving on. Like there's really nothing to do. By the time you get to the end of it, you're just kind of like, oh, this makes this skill more powerful. I'll put this bangle on that bangle, and then all right, we're out the door. And like I said, I get it for a lot of people. They don't really like dealing with the itemization and stuff of JRPGs. So for them, this is great. But like I said, that's not a a lot of people who are
It
enjoying
makes
that
no sense
aspect.
for a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, it makes no sense
Like,
for a game that is supposed to be a quote unquote JRPG.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, like I said, that's a big miss. Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, like I said, I still haven't gotten to everything. So like I said, I'm taking it as it is. Where I've gotten, that's where I'm really trying to push. What I was playing, the most I've played, honestly, was last night when I was playing with Morgan. So we were playing, and that's the most I've been able to push the story so far. And like I said, finally got the third icon. So we'll just kind of see how that goes from there. Like I said, other issues might be as fast paced as this game wants to be. Like I said, I still have a problem with the speed at which you gain points in order to unlock new skills and master
With them,
skills.
you get an item that speeds up a little bit better, faster, but it's an equipment slot, so it takes away more damage for your weapon, or more damage, or more defense, or more healing. So yeah,
Yeah. So again, something else you got to sacrifice because you don't have enough slots and stuff like that. Like,
which crazy. Why are you limited to three? Any idea? Cause why aren't your party members helping you? Why don't they have equipment slots?
well, I think that's again something a lot of people are missing is like they say the itemization in Final Fantasy was never that crazy, and I'm like, yeah, it might not have been complicated, but you had multiple party members you could equip things on in order to help the party as a whole get things done, or boost certain aspects. But you can't do that now. It's only Clive, so that's
And
another
party
limitation
members
imposed.
and party members switch the gameplay up. Like Final Fantasy, don't go back, don't go far away. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
What the hell was that? OBS Studio disconnected and reconnected. That's
Oh,
weird. I've never seen that message before, but anyway, I mean, it looks like it never stopped recording, so I don't know why it said that. But yeah, like that was actually something that we were having a conversation about because me and Morgan were talking to Fox about her playing Persona, and Morgan was talking about her enjoyment of being able to switch out her party members, as a large part of the strategy that applies to Persona, and being able to decide who to bring and getting rid of their elemental weaknesses, making sure you bring people who have certain personas that can interact or boost the party in specific ways, so that you ultimately remove that weakness and strengthen your team as much as possible. And this is all strategy you're applying before you've even fought, the boss or fought in that specific dungeon, or so on and so forth. And again,
mm-hmm.
a lot of that is lost because there's no elemental, and you don't control or enhance your party members in any way. So again, you lose that. So a
And
lot of that
enemies
strategic
don't have
element,
any weaknesses, so
exactly.
or strength.
So really, it's
So you lose
ultimately just
that
battling.
strategy.
Exactly. So you lose that
So
strategic element entirely, which ultimately turns the game into just pretty colors.
Devil
Pretty,
May
pretty,
Cry
yeah,
clone.
yeah. Like there's no difference other than what the skill looks like and the how many people it hits and so on and so forth. But for the most part, it's not strategically applied. Like you can honestly get through the game with anything. So yeah, it's just that much is disappointing, but uh,
What can we do?
yeah. But like I said,
Um,
I'm still enjoying the game. I think ultimately I'm going to end somewhere around an 8. But like I said, I still got to get to the monster hunting quest and stuff like that and see. They claim the game is going to expand, but I honestly don't see it
it
going too
does.
far
It
beyond.
does. It does. It's the first monster you fight. You're like you 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 you're not supposed to be that cool. Stop. You're you're a mini Gorgle eye that's supposed to stun me for a second and call it a day. You're not supposed to do all these cool moves. Stop it. Like, the first hunt alone shits on most boss fights when it comes to, entertainment value. Because you don't expect it out of something so tiny.
Yeah, and I do have the DualSense Edge Viper. The problem is that even if you move the jump button, the issue is that you can't add another slot. So I can't move the jump button and then like reassign it so that it doesn't exist on X. Like it's still just gonna be there. Like what I was saying is
Oh,
what I was saying is when I press R2, I need it to turn into a skill slot and not just be jump still. That's what I was saying.
mm,
So even if I moved it to my paddle, I don't have a problem hitting the jump. So I use the paddles to switch between the icons and to dodge. That's what I have them on.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
But
so,
yeah,
if you could fix it, what would you do?
I mean, honestly, it's kind of rough in the state that it's in. If I was going to maintain the integrity of the game, obviously elemental damage wouldn't really work because they limit you to fire for like for so long in the beginning of the game that you can't really have elemental damage. So if you ran into something that was fire resistant, that would be a major problem. So I definitely wouldn't be able to add that in the at least in the current state the game is in. But I would definitely add at the very least party member equipment. I would add it exclusively to them largely because they they kind of come and go as they please. Um, and I don't really see an option to change that because obviously people don't come with you at certain instances because you're meant to be alone. So that part I get. So just being able to equip them and be able to benefit the team more, and be able to
Mm,
equip them to do stuff like that. Like you said, later on you get an item that can be equipped, whether it's a bangle or something, and it can increase your points. Like I'd rather put that on one of them than on me. And then maybe when
yeah,
they
I
leave the
feel
party,
you.
it goes back to my inventory, stuff like that. So I think that would
Yeah,
probably be the biggest thing if I kept it inside the grounds of the way the game is now, and of course also being able to execute more combo like skills. I mean, he's really close to his like best friend or whatever, Shiva. So yeah, it's just I don't know. You can't change it too crazily, but I think those benefits alone would increase the the combo possibilities and accessory combinations in party, and that would enhance the game quite a bit at the very least. But yeah,
mm.
like I said, that's where I'm at.
Morgan, what about you? What's your thoughts on what you've been
Listen, I'm
playing
not
right
gonna
now?
share the same opinion as a Nintendo. All right, so let's get that straight first and foremost, okay? Because that's
Oh
exactly what
man,
an eight
oh
is.
man.
All right. I'm really enjoying the game so far. The story is very gripping, very engaging. Usually, a lot of the time, like if I play a game, and it's a cutscene, I'll pay attention. But sometimes, I'll just be like on my phone, listening, but not really listening. But
Mm.
with this game, I'm really fully paying attention. I'm not going on my phone. I'm not scrolling. I'm not doing anything. I really enjoy the voice acting is phenomenal in this game, and I'm not doing sub. I should try it, but
Yeah, I'm not doing sub
well,
either.
well, well. I guess Japanese is technically. Wait, which one's sub? Because I don't
Sub
know.
is
It's hard.
Japanese. Japanese.
Sub would be you
Japanese
be
is
playing
sub.
in Japanese.
Yeah. No, because
No.
English is yeah.
Yes. When I say sub, English is actually the proper
Right.
original soundtrack because they don't have a lip sync for the
For
Japanese
Japanese. Yeah.
soundtrack,
Okay.
so clearly
So
it's
what is
made for the
sub then?
English one. When you enable subtitles.
Yeah. But yeah, the English voice acting's very good. I really like Clive's voice, his voice acting. It's done very well. The um shoot. Uh I, I really like the story is really gripping. I know they said they were getting inspiration from, Western stories, and it's clear that they paid a lot of attention to like shows like Game of Thrones, very dramatic, very family oriented, drama between families and different regions and kingdoms battling for power and stuff like that. But it's doing a good job gripping me into that. And I know people have issues with like the side missions. Like I know a lot of them are boring. Like I know y'all were talking about the one where you have to deliver food to the different people all in
Yeah.
like a 20-foot radius of each other, like just
Yeah.
taking in the plates. Like, yeah, that is very tedious, and I'm just kind of like rolling my eyes at missions like that. But I like the missions in the side missions in the town, where they kind of treat, like Nate was saying, where they treat the branded like crap.
Yeah,
um I enjoyed that because I think it gave a really good
there are a few of those.
idea. Yeah, well, I think there was like three, but again, you're much farther than me, so I don't know how many are in the overall of the game, but so
Yeah, you're
far,
probably talking about
the,
the place I was talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
the town that
I
I'm in, there was a good amount in the town I was in, like three.
You're talking about
You meant
Um,
with
the
the
town
one
with
with
the dame,
the
right?
one
the
right,
bar,
the one
the
with
t-
the little girl. Are you
no, the
talking about
town.
her?
No, I'm talking about the town with the bar,
The
the
tavern?
lady who owns the bar, the tavern. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Got you.
um
Yeah, that was heavy.
Yeah, I think it gives a really good idea of how this society in this game they treat people who they deem as lesser than, the branded,
Mm,
because at the beginning of the game we got kind of an idea, but when his dad was in charge, of course the branded were still second class citizens, but they were at least treated like people, for the most part, because his dad, he
yeah,
made that a big part of his reign, was to treat everybody equal and make sure everybody had a job, everybody had a something, a purpose to do and stuff like that. But then of course we know what happens, and heads roll, regimes change, and now the branded are deemed as even worse, like third, fourth class citizens. Not even like they treat their dogs, and their pets better than they treat people who are branded. And we see that every time Clive is given a mission, a side mission. They're like, oh God, here comes a branded.
mm-hmm.
I don't really have time to like barter with your master about how much I have to pay to use you. But I mean, since there's nobody else around, I guess I'll use your services. Like, and he'll come through and help them with this, a problem that they couldn't solve themselves, and they were in a pickle, and it might be like their life was on the line, and Clive came through and saved them, and they still, like, at the end of the day, they're just like, oh, I guess you're cool for a branded guy. I guess. Well, tell your master I said thank you for your services. And I'm just like, and I get Nate's annoyance with it, like, them treating Clive like crap. But I think it paints a really good picture of, like I said, how they treat those types of people, and why, what's his name? I'm losing the name of Clive's friend who is in charge of the hideout.
Did
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Sid. Why, he does what he does, and why he, has the hideout, and why he's trying to, kind of change the world and their view and their mistreatment of people who host dominance and are branded. You see why, like, because it's a very dramatic shift from when Clive was a teenager to now when he's an adult, how people are branded or treated. And I think the side missions painted that well. I am particularly enjoyed. I don't know if I can really say about this particular side mission
It's side mission, so go ahead.
about what happens to when we visited the chapel, about what happens to the branded when they use too much of the ether and their
Yeah.
powers. What happens to them? Like, it's not just a, an unlimited power source where they can just use magic forever and with no consequences. They basically become petrified.
Mm-hmm.
And it's excruciating, it's painful, and there's no known cure. And they just kind of like, whenever their masters are done with them and they can no longer use the magic, they're just kind of tossed to the side and left to die. And I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
damn. And like,
These are the lucky ones, yeah?
yeah. And, the people who are, the people who are good enough in the town to, treat them with some decency, try to let them at least die comfortably. Those are like the lucky, like you said, Omar, like the lucky ones who get to die at least like in a bed, with some medicine to try to ease their pain into death. But the rest just kind of just dropped off to the side. And even like the realization that they pick that the what is it, that even babies like that, like they look for the people who hold magic when they're born, and that another part that happened in the tavern is when the woman and her child came in, and she was like so distraught because she just had a child who was who held magic, and of course now is branded, and she was just like so disgusted by the child that she literally just gave birth to. She was like, I was so glad when they took it away from me and out of my hands. I didn't want anything to do with that. It's like and her friends were like, don't worry, that thing is gone now, you don't have to worry about it. And then her child was like, that wasn't my brother, was he? And she was like, no, don't worry, we're gonna have another one, don't worry about that baby, it's fine. I was just like, dang. Like they just really hate the branded in this game. But I really liked that portrayal, showing the difference in the classes. I really enjoy that. And then of course Clive's his own internal struggle. I'm not gonna say a spoiler, but his own internal struggle of accepting who he is and what he is and all of that. But yeah, like I said, the story is really strong. I'm enjoying it so far. I've heard it falls off, but I'm hoping that that doesn't
Oh,
happen for me.
I don't recall it falling off for me.
Okay,
Maybe
that's good to know.
the pacing is a little bit slow, but the pacing is
Yeah,
off, I would say.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
biggest issue with it. It's pacing wise.
yeah.
Story,
There was bits and pieces like certain missions. I don't know if you guys remember or recall this mission. I don't want to necessarily spoil it, but when he was chasing the hooded figure through the underground tavern, um
yeah.
that pacing was kind of like, I was just like, okay, like we kept going into different rooms and there was more and more enemies, and I was just like, oh my god, when is this going to end? Like, how many rooms are we going to have to go into?
Yeah.
Mm.
I was just like, dang.
You're gonna have a lot of that. Basically, they want you to they want to have an amazing story, but at the
Yeah.
same time they want it to be a game, and they
Mm-hmm.
can't do both. They can't do both because if you're gonna have a story, you're gonna miss out on the gameplay. If you're gonna
Yeah.
have too much gameplay, they're gonna miss out. Then the story is gonna drag down,
But
and
like you
that's what
said,
happened.
there is definitely some pacing issues, but because I was just like, I was really enjoying the story, and Clive going through and like, okay, he's trying to find who this is, blah blah blah. But I was just like, dang it, do we have to go with like, there's another room with more enemies? Like, Jesus. It's like, how many rooms are there, and when are we gonna finally get to the end? We finally did. But I did enjoy the last little battle, the big battle at the end of that mission though. But like, those boss battles are fantastic, by the way. Like,
Amazing.
Agreed.
I really enjoy them. The cinematography, the lighting, the particle effects, like just the epicness. Like, it reminds me of old school God of War, just how the scale of
Mm-hmm.
these boss battles, and the basically the like, it feels just like this is it. Like, it makes you feel like it's all or nothing at these bot battles. Like,
Yeah.
um that's what I really enjoy. That I like the supporting cast. I don't feel like any character is dragging their performance, or like, somebody's like not putting their all into it. Sometimes when there's a game like this where you have to, you have different party members, or you have people that you consistently have to talk to in a game, there's like somebody you just feel is just like not that character. You're just like, oh, here they come. But everybody's doing good. Everybody's pulling their weight thus far. As far as combat goes, I'm not a Final Fantasy savant like you guys, so I don't really have a base to compare it to be like, oh, they're missing this and this and that and this. That's what makes a good Final Fantasy game. So I'm just judging it as a game by itself, just like an action adventure, third person type of
So,
game.
So wait. So wait,
Um,
hold on. So you say that, but you have had extensive experience thus far with other JRPGs, which is typically the genre Final Fantasy is in, and you have elements within those like Persona and Octopath Traveler 2 that you do love, which feature things that I know you factually love, and that is the increase in the strategical element when taking into account enemy weaknesses as it pertains to elemental weaknesses. So is that not something that now like I said earlier, we understand why it's not here
Look,
because the
sir,
way the game's laid out.
stop trying to garner a reaction out of me.
No,
All right.
I'm just saying,
yeah,
but
Yeah.
that's
I know what you're
he
something.
doing. He's
make a
trying to
good
fabricate. He's
he
trying to
make a good point though.
Yeah.
You
Shut up,
you
he's trying to
love
Rose.
fabricate a
you
reaction out of
love
me.
you love what you call
I
it,
do, but those are
Octopath.
turn based, and so
You
I
love
have, I
no,
have a different viewpoint on those
no,
than
But they're
I
but
do
still
with
but
an action
RPGs
but
game.
though.
but no. But we do
Yes, but
touch
I
about turn
wouldn't
based.
rate a game like Fallout versus a game like Octopath 2 and be like, oh, well, it's missing this and this just because it's an RPG.
Well, no,
Mhm.
but it's typically a JRPG, which is what those are.
Look, listen, Nate, listen. Let
Hmm.
me say what I was gonna say before rudely interrupted me and tried to get a reaction that you
Damn.
wanted out of me, sir.
But do you or
Uh
do
huh.
you not love
Oh my god,
elemental
you
damage?
and me, you like we gonna fight.
You,
I do, but
you
that doesn't
can
mean
Okay.
hack. You can
I
hack
can't
your
like a
turn,
game
Nate.
without it. I
I,
have played plenty of action games that had no elemental damage that I enjoyed a lot. So that doesn't really affect my enjoyness
But
of a game.
is this a good action game? The question is
Well,
this
I was gonna
versatile?
answer that, but then Nate came through and tried to tell me, well, what about this, and
Okay.
that.
all right.
You played Devil May Cry?
No, I haven't. I don't play Devil May
Okay.
Cry.
Then it's gonna be
She's not
difficult
gonna have
to.
anything to compare it to.
Okay.
Yeah.
You played Bayonetta?
No. Well, I did play
Oh.
it like it was like a while ago, like
Okay.
PS3.
So then
Like,
yeah. You need to play games like even the
oh
game
man, he said
Focus
I can't have an
that
opinion until I play these games.
No.
Oh, okay,
no, I'm not
I
saying
know.
that.
I know. I'm just fucking with you.
Go ahead.
That's why I used games as an example that I knew she played, because I
Uh
know
huh.
she doesn't really
Right.
play.
Right.
Number one,
Okay.
action games have been on the decline, so yeah. But the
Rude.
reality is, this is supposed to be an action RPG, like,
Mm-hmm.
but and yeah, I think if you purely look at
I
it as an
will
action game,
say
then yeah.
that a lot of the RPG elements are missing.
Or extremely
That's
streamlined.
that's why I was started off by saying I look at the combat from an action adventure point of
Mhm.
view, and I didn't say RPG because I don't really consider this an RPG to be honest.
Oh damn.
Like, I mean, and it's like nothing wrong with not being an RPG. There's
No,
great
it
games
is
that
because
aren't,
it is an RPG.
but
It's just
Not according to Twitter.
it's
it's not an RPG at the same time. So it's
yeah.
you poke the bear right now.
Oh
You
man,
poke
I'm
the
not trying to poke
you
a
have
bear.
no
Listen.
you
No,
poke the bear more than I
Oh shit.
said in the entire
Oh
9 minute
shit.
no.
rant.
I
Oh
think
So
what
good
man.
I
luck.
think what you said makes sense,
Oh
right?
man.
But on
It
Twitter,
makes sense,
they're
but it's
mad
difficult
if you say you don't think it's an
yeah,
RPG. But
yeah.
Listen,
you are
I
playing from
can't
a
say what
blind
look, to
standpoint.
be honest, I can't really say what at the end of the day, I didn't make this damn game, so I can't give it a category.
No, no,
But
no, no. I'm
in
saying
my
how you
opinion,
feel.
No,
while
but
you're
you're
playing.
right though.
In my opinion, it does of course have RPG elements,
Elements.
with the health, meter thing, you can control slightly the dog, a little bit. You can the gear that you can equip and unequip, it has its RPG elements to it.
That's my basic.
Um I know that's what I was about to say, but it's kind of like, borderline. But, regardless though, I'm enjoying the combat because, like, again, I don't have the Final Fantasy bar that you guys have. Like, okay, this is what makes a Final Fantasy game. Um, but the combat for me,
Makes a
oh my
RPG.
god,
Makes
I
a
can't
RPG.
finish a statement without a Nate
Makes a
coming through.
RPG though, not a Final Fantasy game. Because we're not arguing it's not a Final Fantasy. I want to, because I don't want
Listen,
niggas coming through with
Yeah.
that.
hey, sir, I heard you say, well, it doesn't have the
I'm
damage
talking
or the
about
elemental
Yeah,
damage.
but
It
RPG.
doesn't
no,
have
that
this
when
what Final
look
Fantasy X
when
had. Blah
Those
blah
are
blah.
RPG
no,
elements.
we are
Oh
talking
my god.
we put Final Fantasy name out of it because we
Okay.
want to take it in of what genre it tries to be. It tries to be a JRPG, but it's not. It tries to be an RPG by itself, but it's not. This
Oh
is
man.
literally an action game with paper thin RPG mechanics sprinkled on top.
There you
I
go.
would I would sort of agree with that. I would sort of agree with that. But looking at it like playing it, the combat, I'm enjoying the combat. I like the ability to switch the icons on the fly. I like the icon moves. I enjoy, I'm really getting good at the dodge. Like sometimes
Nice.
I feel like it's playing me because I know I pressed dodge and I didn't dodge, and I'd be like, Clive, stop playing with me. But for the most part, I'm getting the streak, like 4 or 5 dodges in a row, and it feels really good, especially with how beautiful the cinematography cinematography for the game is, and the movement and like the scale. When you do it right and the fluidity of everything, it looks really good.
Agreed.
Like you just feel like a boss when you can
Mm,
get the combos right and dodge perfectly, and then hit them with the parry, and like it feels really good. And oh, that's another thing. I think this game implemented the DualSense features really well. I think the DualSense feels really good playing this game. I like the haptics. The little things, like when you hit, you can feel like the shake. I like the feeling when you open a door and you have to press R2. Sometimes you got to squeeze it harder for like bigger doors and stuff like that.
interesting. You like that? I dislike that
Yeah, you do. Oh,
because it's almost like not needed. That's why.
you feel like it's tedious. I get that.
It's
Um,
tedious because the more you do it, one time, yeah, fine.
yeah,
But every now and then, you're like, come on. You're
but I
supposed
really
to
like.
just
Yeah, I really like how they implemented the haptic features of the game. Maybe not the adaptive triggers so much, but the haptics feel really good. I could tell they spent a lot of time, you know, fine tuning the DualSense with this game, and that's good because I love it when a game takes advantage of the DualSense.
Mm,
Um, but
what's
yeah,
your
this game
thought
is
on the running? Is it
the
tedious
running.
for you that you can't run? I'm
Oh
genuinely
yeah,
curious.
yeah, no, yeah. I brought that up to and they actually last night when we were playing, I was like, God, I hate that. I hate that. Like, cause I never know when he's gonna do it. I'm sitting here, pushing the analog stick, full throttle, and I'm waiting for him to go into his little run mode, and it's annoying because I'm like, okay, when is he gonna run? And then he finally does it, and I'm like, okay. But then I make a slight movement with the
Yep,
stick, and he'll stop, and I'm like, no. I get so frustrated. I'm like,
yep.
no, now I gotta wait for him to start. I have to wait for his little prop, or for him to start running again, and it's so frustrating. Like, uh, yeah,
It is.
there are little tedious things that are annoying about this game, but overall, like, I just really love a good story in a game. Like if you know me, like an engaging story, you got me all day. Like you got me
Yeah, the story
enthralled,
is great with this
and I'll
one.
finish it. And I hope it ends on a high note for me. I hope that it doesn't fall off, like I said, they're following Game of Thrones, so hopefully they don't follow the trope of the last season and like just disappoint us all get just amazing character development to just throwing the character in the trash. Like I hope we don't have that type of Game of Thrones mentality with this game. But I'm trying to think of anything else.
Some people love the ending, some people hate the ending, so good
Yeah,
luck. I
that's what
don't
I've
know about the
seen.
ending, anything, so I'm gonna go in with an open mind.
But yeah, I've been taking a lot of screenshots, a lot of videos, because this game is just people. I don't know what people are talking about when they like shit on this game and said it's ugly and looks like a PS3 game.
Nah, this
I
is
don't
a
know where
beautiful
y'all looking. I can
game.
see they are kind of behind on NPC conversation interactions. Like when you're talking to an NPC, it does still have that weird
They don't have the
transition.
fluidity of
Yeah,
Horizon.
like yeah, exactly, like Forbidden West. Like you can't even tell the difference between a conversation with NPCs and a cutscene because it's so seamless. But like you'll see there's a drastic difference from the cutscenes of Final Fantasy 16, and they're like movie like almost. It looks like a lot like how the Resident Evil animation movies look. Just high quality CGI-ish looking. That's how the cutscenes look for Final Fantasy 16, and then you'll go to a conversation with the NPC, and it's that where they're basically these stoic, standing
Yeah.
still, not really much moving in the mouth, very little animation style conversations like back in the late PS3 or early PS4 days, and it's just like, oh god,
Or
why?
current Bethesda games.
Exactly, because that'll
And
be a lot in
here's the
Starfield.
kicker:
Yeah, we'll be seeing a lot of that.
these are voiced ones.
Yeah,
Imagine if they weren't voiced.
yeah, exactly. And it's just annoying because I'll, like I said, you'll go from this phenomenal looking game with these cutscenes, and then you'll go to talking to an NPC, and you'll just be like, damn, why is the difference so drastic? Like you could tell where the budget went. But I'm playing, by the way, in the quality mode, 30 FPS. I think it looks great. It plays great. It's very fluid. I
And
haven't even tried the performance, and I didn't before. People be like, "Oh, that's because it's not patched." And look, I was playing the quality mode on the demo before they even came out with the whole 60 FPS is not working. I automatically try 30 FPS before I try 60, because if 30 FPS is smooth to me, it doesn't matter. Like I won't even bother with the 60. But the quality mode is really good. It's really beautiful. It's really fluid. I haven't had any I don't, at least that I can tell, I haven't had any dips. It's not aggravating my eyes. It's really good, the quality mode. Haven't had any crashes like I've seen. I've heard other people have, but then again, I cleaned my PS5 before I started playing Final Fantasy 16. I did have dust all up in it. I hadn't cleaned it since I bought it on launch day, so that's like 2.5 years of dust accumulated.
Damn.
I
I did.
opened it
I
up. I
did.
took the fan out.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Weep.
No, I was just saying I didn't clean it, and I have had no crashes either.
I
Okay, that's
didn't
good.
clean it as well, and I
Knock
haven't
on wood
had
for
any
Weep.
scratches.
Yeah. I just realized, like, I was like, yeah, it had like a little layer. It wasn't crazy like I've seen some people. Some people's it looked like they threw like a whole dust mite in there or something. Like it had a nice like little thin layer of dust on it. But I went ahead, took the fan out, kind of blew it out and cleaned it and made sure to clean the layer that was on the heat sink. And
To,
yeah, it's been
to be
quiet ever
fair,
since. So
I've seen one person on Twitter saying that happened to them and fix it after they clean their PS5. Like
yeah,
I don't think this is actually an issue. I
yeah,
think
I
that's
don't think
just
I think
one
it's just the
person.
timing.
Yeah.
Like it just so happened, like, because this
Yeah.
is a very, like I said, big game with nice cinematics, and it probably it's pushing the PS5 a little bit, and people who have a lot of dust, it's probably causing some issues. But
Yeah,
once,
especially
like you
people with
said, once they
pets.
clean, yeah, pet
Mhm.
dender and stuff. But like we said, once they cleaned it out, there was no issue. Like,
Uh,
so
they should open a window once in a while.
So, yeah,
just let some
seriously.
fresh air in, every now and again.
Yeah, my PS5's
But
been whisper quiet on this game.
thus
Yeah.
far, yeah, that's how mine has been ever since I cleaned it. It's been quiet. But thus far, I would give the game, and it might change, but for me right now, it's a 9. I mean, it could go down if, if I get to where Omar is and like I start feeling the way he does, and it's kind of tedious, and there's too many side missions where like the food one and maybe the combos or something they're not as cool to me anymore because now I'm just doing them over and over again. So I might feel the way Omar does, but for right now,
No, you
I'm
won't.
still kind of early.
Now she
I'm
she will. She
I'm still
will.
kind of early
If
in the game. So for right now, it's still a 9 to me. That might change, but I'm enjoying Final Fantasy 16. I really am, and I'm like, the crazy thing is, I've been trying to my best not to play while we're on the podcast because I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, damn, I want to play it right now.
Well, yeah,
But
because we
I'm gonna be
started getting
trying.
back into it last night, and you pushed the story. So
And
yeah,
I didn't get off until like 5 or like in the morning or something,
yeah.
and it stopped at like a high point, and I was like, damn, I don't want to stop, but I gotta go to bed. So,
Oh, it's
I
about
feel
to
you.
get
I
even
Uh,
have
more.
some
It's about to get
moments
even
like
more
that.
lit.
oh man,
Yeah.
wait, how do you know? I'm ahead of you. Hush. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Final Fantasy 16. Weeb.
oh,
Yeah,
finally.
I like real talk. I like how you guys are going from one character, one person to another. Do that more often. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Weave.
Do you really?
I do. I can.
I
Do
love
you?
Omar,
No, I
man.
don't.
We keep trying to explain to this man the podcast could flow if you would just let it, but you
Yeah.
know.
Hey, here's the key. Do your thing.
Yeah, but I'm here falling asleep, right? But do your
Oh
thing.
man.
Oh
No.
shit!
What are we talking about again?
You're pulling an eight. Oh damn.
Oh man.
Hey, I have
That
an
man sleep
excuse.
good on that desk, like that
It's
desk
it's
chair.
it's
He be
it's
out.
1 a.m. over here, so
Hey,
and it has no
it is
excuse.
1:30. Yeah, to be fair, it's 1:15. Yeah, but I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead, Nate. Go ahead, Weep. What you thought?
See, she wants to skip me again. See, Morgan. See what he
Oh
does
How?
man. Y'all gonna
Okay.
leave
every
my baby
single
alone.
time.
Oh man.
So Omar, what's the topic again?
Go ahead, Weep.
Now what's the
Real
topic
talk.
though? Oh man.
Uh, my impressions. I think I am farther than an eight because I've had the three icons for a while now. So, and I think I'm about to get the fourth one. Um, yeah, like I said, I really like the story. I think that's probably the general consensus. Everybody likes the story. I think though it's especially carried by the voice acting, the English voice acting. That's phenomenal. Even the point that I can recognize the writing, the dialogues are sometimes a bit on the nose or um, almost like they're trying to be Shakespearean by deliberately by using like words you would use in a play rather than normal people talking. Um, but it's saved by the voice actor because every single character, even the side characters, NPCs, have phenomenal voice acting, and that definitely elevates the entire experience for me. Um,
Mm.
one critique I do have is that while pretty much everything is voice acted, there are these dumb things where you can ask questions to certain NPCs, optional things, and then they only voice like the first part of the sentence, and then everything else you have to
Yeah.
read. Like
Yeah.
really, you couldn't fork out a little more money to have them voice that part too. Like that really takes you out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but presentation is absolutely excellent. Like you said, Morgan, there are moments where I just keep on playing, and then like shit, I gotta work tomorrow.
It's so
um,
hard. Oh
it's so
man.
hard. It's so hard to put it down at times.
Yes.
Um, Side quests, yeah, I do recognize a lot of them are pretty much fetch quests. You have to just pick something up. There are some yeah, some are again they're somewhat saved by the fact that the voice acting is so good. So it's sometimes just fun just to see hear the responses when you finish the quest. But basically, a lot of them are very straightforward. You have to pick something up or deliver something, and that's about it, or defeat a monster. Um, the music is absolutely also phenomenal, especially when you're all past the point where you basically first like properly transform into Freed. That fight was that music was so fucking epic. Um, there the combat, like I'm actually pretty much a huge fan of character action games like Devil May Cry. I wouldn't compare it to that because it's very very simple compared to that. Like
I
there
know.
there's a four hit combo. I mean that's not a character action game. Um, and I think that, like I said, they deliberately didn't want to be that. So, but that's also what I mentioned in my critique of the demo of the second part, where you get like the new moves, where you're not really dependent on the story that much. It's sort of like I have a feeling that's sort of stuck between Final Fantasy VII and well, a Devil May Cry game or whatever. um, and it doesn't really know really what it wants to be. I think I think like Nate said, they sort of streamline it to perhaps too much, where it's just it's in a way too easy and gets very predictable and um, you know uh, like I really enjoy like anything story related, but when you have to go out there and explore and or don't have to, but when you have like a larger area, or I like to explore, so I just instead of going straight to the
It
main,
feels empty.
yeah, exactly. Like it's just like there are some pickups, some chests here and there, some enemies to fight, but
And
there's not much there to explore. But and when you fight enemies, like you really notice that the gameplay is very basic. Like
yeah,
it's you don't really
I,
do much aside from hitting that combo, using your special move when it's ready, and switch to the next icon while that's on cooldown.
Exactly. Thank you.
yeah, I have a
Somebody who
question.
freaking said it,
Would
man.
it have been better if you got better reward? Cause the shit is one of the worst loot I have ever seen, and it doesn't change the fact, and it doesn't even make it better that the weapons that you get there are just swords. There is no
Yeah,
variation.
that's something I heard before, and I do agree. It's like they don't have like that's of course the problem with the fact that you don't have any elemental damage. It's like none of these weapons do anything special. They just have you just compare stats. It doesn't have it does do more damage. Cool, that's it. And there's nothing else like that. That's something you definitely miss. When you compare it to more traditional JRPGs, where like you might actually equip a weapon that does less damage, but it has does fire damage, for example, and that's more effective against the enemy you're fighting at the time, or the boss you're fighting at the time. So those kind of things are, yeah. I mean, that's like I said, it's like Nate said, it's very streamlined to an extreme where there is. It's almost like they went out of the way to make sure that non JRPGs fans can enjoy this, but it went too far to the point where everything is oversimplified and they're not really like they're not adding the layers there. Like if this was an actual character action game, if they actually went all the way there, like character action games have layers. They are very easy to get into, but very
Hard to
hard to
master.
master.
The
Yeah,
master,
exactly.
yeah, and this is
And
not it.
no, this is definitely, and again, it's not like it's not bothering me to the point that I don't enjoy the game, because the story is great and I get through it. But I can really just when I'm fighting regular enemies out there, I can just put my brain like on zero, and I don't really have to think about it. It's just hitting, occasionally dodging, switching to your other icons when your moves are on cooldown, and that's about it. And yeah, I do kind of miss indeed like they could have mapped me more, allow you to map more buttons with special attacks, because that definitely like you're not really using anything other than the ones that you like. And yeah, that's might sound logical, but to this case, like since you only can equip two at a time and you cannot switch them in combat, you will only use two of those per icon at a time, and you will never use the other ones ever again. Because I've only used a few of them for trophies because there were trophies that you had to use them X amount of time. But other than that, I switch them out to the ones that you know felt best. Like generally just use like one move that's most effective, and then the like the area effect ultimate move because that does the most damage, and then I'll just switch between the regular moves and normal combos until that recharges, and then just hit it. And basically the combat is very like when you're like normal enemies you just hit them, but with bosses or mini bosses there you use that stagger meter 2 effect, and that's basically just you hit them until they're halfway down, then you use the harpies or Garuda's pull to knock them down briefly, and then just keep hitting them with special moves until they're staggered, and then just wail on them. And there's not much else to it, right? That's just the basic strategy for most tougher enemies or mini bosses, uh, and even for some bosses, basically. Um, Except for the actual icon battles. So yeah, that's definitely something you can critique. Like I said, the overall impression is I definitely love the game, and the story is really and excellent voice acts really carrying it. Um, but it's absolutely fair to say that they really went, I guess, too streamlined too much. They really made it too simple in terms of combat. And also like Morgan said, like there's definitely a difference between the cutscenes and when you are talking to NPCs. You definitely see they're very stilted, and yeah, I'm getting Bethesda flashbacks. It
Oh man, oh man,
it
sneak
feels
this.
like a Fallout game when you're talking to certain NPCs. And again, the voice acting
How would you
does
fix
all
it?
the huh? Sorry.
How would you fix it if you had the choice, the power to do so? Because
Uh,
as much as I want to cover the good and the bad, I want a solution. What would you able to do so? Because, yeah, I'm curious.
well, the thing is, like I said before in the chat, like I think the game would have been better if it was a turn-based RPG. I think
Oh no,
it would
you're
have
not
been
gonna
more
make people happy.
oh, it would have been more interesting. I think it doesn't need like what it does. It doesn't need to be an action RPG. Like if you do it, like either go all the way, right? Either make it an action RPG, but uh, go balls to the wall action, right? Or make it a turn-based RPG. But this sort of half measure, basically, yeah, it's not in any way. It's not impressing anybody, right? It just
Hmm.
feels like again, they were trying too hard to sort of appeal to a mainstream audience or to people who generally don't like JRPGs, or trying too hard to not
Exactly.
be a JRPG, I guess, which
Yeah.
is incredibly dumb. Not just for the fact that be proud of what you are, because I love JRPGs, but also like you can never really escape the fact that
You
that
love
this is
action also. Don't put
yeah, but but you cannot escape the fact that this is in essence, even you can debate whether it's technically a JRPG. It's a JRPG because look at the characters. Like the character designs are basically typical. Well, they're not boy bandish, but they definitely have the hallmark of being Final Fantasy character designs, right?
Absolutely.
They definitely look like they're basically Japanese people, speaking with a posh British accent, right? And you can never let that go. You can never unsee that. So that was will always remind you this is a Final Fantasy game you're playing. This is a Japanese game you're playing. You're not. It yeah, they can never escape that origin. But the problem is, it's not like a lowly origin. Should be something they're proud of.
Exactly.
Um,
Agreed.
Mm,
and yeah,
it's
but
missing
you know,
out. So,
hmm?
would you say to be it more quantity than quality? Because it's doing
N-
too many things, but it's not even one thing.
no, no, no.
More things, not
I
right?
wouldn't. I wouldn't say that per se. Like that would imply they're doing a lot of things, because I even say that they're keeping it very simple, very
Yeah, they're
basic.
doing
Like there's
less,
not
if
a
anything.
lot. Yeah, there's not a lot to do aside from the main quest and some side missions, and maybe
Yeah,
at
there
some
is
point you're
zero
lucky.
mini games.
There's
There
some,
is
yeah,
zero
there's no,
mini games.
yeah, there's no mini games. There's like there's absolutely some useful things. Like yeah, I don't know if you guys are there yet, but when you it's not a spoiler, but there's a character that you can talk to, and that basically gives you like the overview of of the map and of
Yeah,
characters, but and that updates every time. But it's basically useless because it basically just gives you the same information you can get from from the library from the
yeah. I found it
um,
so fucking confusing.
yeah,
Why are
but
you
sorted in a
his
different way.
version?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's completely useless, and like you can replay your battles, but that's about it. Like there's not, yeah. Look, I will always run around the base see if there's new conversations, but like there's one funny one where there's this woman in the base after the time skip that you can talk. Like I always check her because she apparently is like lusting after one of the NPCs, but is switching to a different one every single time. So that's kind of funny. Um,
Which one? Tell me later
the,
which one it is.
yeah, she's on I think on top of sort of the mess hall. If you move up the stairs,
I
but
have a
you probably
question. Have you
yeah.
guys gone through the what do you call it, the battle, and you escape a battle, and the enemy regain its health, and without ever you wanted to have for that to happen?
No.
Okay, you guys are lucky. There are so many moments where I'm sending my enemy flying. It goes out of range of the battle, and then I lose the battle because
Hmm.
the enemy left, and it gains all its health back.
Oh, I never had that happen to me. Yeah.
Hmm.
Guess that's you, problem. Omar. um,
Okay.
but yeah, overall, so much else to say. Yeah, like I said, it's an absolutely fantastic game. Definitely one of the better games that came out this year. Yeah, I'm doubtful it's going to win Game of the Year, but it's probably going to be nominated. Definitely.
Yeah, it's
Um,
gonna be nominated. It got
and you know
journalist
it.
mode.
Journalist mode, yeah.
Shout out
But
to that glossary though. I
uh,
forgot to point that out. That's been really helpful to me because there's a lot of different characters and plot points and
uh,
places that they talk about, and I'm like, what is that? And I click the touchpad, and then they explain. And I can click on it, and it explain. It. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, that's what they're talking about. It's really helpful because I would probably be lost without that glossary, at least on like little specifics that they were discussing.
Yeah.
the
So I think that was a good add
yeah.
to the game. I really I hope they keep that in. You know,
Uh,
if you know one thing that they keep in the next installments of Final Fantasy, I hope that's one thing they keep.
though it is kind of ruining cutscenes for me because I have OCD, so every time there's a cutscene, I have to pause. Is there anything to
Right?
change?
Any information that I need to know? Yeah.
No, that's kind of looking at it like that though. I'm kind of hoping, kind of what you said though about the next one or what they're gonna keep or whatnot. It kind of makes me excited potentially if they do them, you know, true 1-to-1, that you potentially get a chance to play some of the other ones remade.
Oh yeah.
Because
I'm excited about potentially remakes of older Final Fantasies. I haven't
Oh, Final
finished
Fantasy
7.
10.
Yeah, I've been hearing good things about 10. I haven't played it, but I've heard really good things. So I
My
would be
favorite Final Fantasy.
okay. I'd be happy to play that one. And you know, I haven't finished Final Fantasy VII remake, the part one.
Yeah, yeah,
I
we
think I'm
both got
like
to finish that.
60 to 75% of the way through it, but from what I experienced, it's it's really good. So I know people are like so tired of this generation, or some gamers are like tired of remakes and remasters, but like a lot of people didn't play those games that everybody else played, and I think um, it gives people not only the ability to experience those games, especially now with updated game graphics and more importantly updated controls.
Hmm.
um but it also shows developers and publishers, especially if these IPs are older, it gives them kind of idea, okay, people are still interested in this franchise. Like, okay, people are excited, they're hyped about these characters in this franchise, which incentivizes things like sequels. Like, okay, let's make another one. Like, you never know, maybe, and not that I'd actually approve of it, but the whether or not Metal Gear does good with its people buying the remaster, Konami might look into making
I
another
thought
one.
it's a
But it's like,
remake.
do I want that though without Kojima?
Mhm.
That's the real
Yeah.
question.
Morgan, I
It's
thought
like,
that's a remake, not a remaster.
I'm talking about
The
the
collection.
remaster, the collection.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
are you
getting
buying
both,
that?
Omar.
I'm getting both.
Oh, I had no
Oh,
idea.
Yeah.
are you asking me? I'm getting
No, no,
everything.
no, 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 Morgan, but feel free to answer it as well.
You
But
said
no,
what?
the thing I was saying that I hope for you to be able to get to experience that is because there's a certain epicness that takes place in a lot of these games. That is obviously a completely different tone than this one. That I think you would enjoy and get to kind of see. And I mean, just like I said, just the way Final Fantasies famously start off
Hmm.
is just always super epic. Like I felt like this one started off okay, but it's like they're famous for their opening. Like, oh my god, holy shit.
Wait, was
Like
this not epic opening wise? This is 10
no no no
level
no no
of
no no
opening.
no no. You're not
Yeah, I'm
understanding.
definitely picking up the remaster, and I'm picking up the remake. So yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting what I'm saying. So like Titus, like jumping out of the fucking thing and backflipping and seeing Sin on the horizon over the
I mean,
stadium,
that,
the fire. No, dude, it wasn't that. Like I
but
love the way the
that,
game started off. That's not disputing. It wasn't it wasn't like that though. Like that shit is
um,
ingrained in my mind as like one of the most
are you,
epic moments I've ever seen in my life.
are you talking about when you're trying to, you go on your chain and trying to save, that girl? I'm not
No,
gonna say
no,
names
I'm
for
telling you,
spoilers.
literally
Territory.
when he's playing and it's a cutscene, and he jumps out of the stadium to do the backflip kick that he's famous for.
Oh, the opening. Okay, I
Yes,
see
that's
you.
what I'm
I see
telling
you.
you. Yeah, tell me that shit
Mm,
wasn't epic beyond epic.
it
Like,
is
yeah,
epic. That what sold me on with the demo.
eh,
That what sold me on the game. To be
Mm-mm-mm.
fair though, I would say the fight with between Ifrit and what you
I'm not
call it.
saying it's not an epic opening. I'm saying it's not a traditional Final Fantasy epic opening, which is usually on a grand scale where it's like an entire city and
Mm,
like you get the whole sense of the world. Like this was like an enclosed opening. Like it was epic in a different way, but not in the traditional sense. Like you have to remember what think back to every Final Fantasy and how they start. Like Final
See,
Fantasy
I told
8.
you y'all were comparing Final Fantasy. See.
No. I'm doing that now. I'm talking about their openings they're famous for. Like it's always this grand affair. Like Final Fantasy 12 for the fact all the facts that I don't really love it to death. Again, flying machines and the city and the parade and everything's happening and oh my god and like all the children are excited in the city and it's the grandest affair. Like it's unlike anything else. And eight, I mean, you're in the middle of freaking like, it starts off with one of the most epic scenes you've ever seen inside of a dream, and then goes into like an all out war and like you're oh my god it's just so hard to explain like we'd have to sit down and watch them together. Like we gotta like sit down and watch it. Just the history of Final Fantasy openings. Like I'm telling you, it could be a class all on its
Sir,
own.
I
I'm
don't watch video
confused.
games, sir.
Look, I'm confused. I played most Final Fantasies and I'm super confused about that because the opening with this one
You're not listening.
definitely
You're
hit
not listening.
to that
You're not
level.
listening.
No, I am listening because you're talking about the grand tale. I mean, when you visit the area again, you see the ground zero, the the crater that it created.
I'm
But that
not
part
demonizing the
alone,
opening of this one. It's fine. I'm just saying it's not oh it's not an opening in the traditional sense is what I'm saying.
but okay. But to be fair though, this is not a traditional Final Fantasy game.
Exactly. Which is fine, which is why I said it's different. Which is why I said
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see her being able to see the other ones
Oh, you just
and
okay. Now I
seeing
understand.
how they
Ooh,
opening
wow.
like there's Final Fantasy is so famous for so many different things that there's a running joke where it if is it even a Final Fantasy game if you don't have a flying ship? That was a joke
I
beforehand.
mean, is it even a Final Fantasy game if Sid is not in it?
Well,
To be fair
and
though,
yeah, I
so
mean he
far
is.
this one, I haven't seen a flying ship.
And I don't think
So,
there's going to
Rick,
be one. But a lot of people
there's
on
not
my
gonna be one.
timeline that know that joke that have talked about this game being a masterpiece literally just like forgot they glossed over that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
uh, obviously you don't need it because of the way you
Well,
traverse the
I
map,
mean,
but
we
yeah.
literally had to accept this. We shot fucking fire at a firebomb. Let that sink in for a minute.
Oh yeah,
You shot
I
fire at
felt,
what?
a
I
firebomb
felt,
because
I
in every
felt
A
other Final
firebomb.
Fantasy it heals
filthy.
it.
I felt
Yeah.
filthy. I'm like, is this real life right now? Couldn't
I don't know if
you
there's a
super...
Tonberry in this because we were joking
Oh,
about that in the space.
I haven't met any, and I don't think we're gonna meet any.
I don't think there's
It's
going to
it's
be a
it's
Tonberry.
it's it's a final boss of the game.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I don't think there is Tomberry. I don't think there is a lot of enemies that traditional Final Fantasy, but there are also others. And that thing is they're not weak or strong against certain elements, and or certain moves would have been better. You're just hacking your way
But
through.
hey guys, I want to interrupt this round of Omar for a shout out to Yoshi P for delivering a terrific game, but also Final Fantasy overrated. Just remake Terra Enigma already, motherfucker.
Oh
Which
man.
one? Which one?
Terra Enigma, the one he always talks about.
Which one? Final
Greatest game of
Fantasy
all
Enigma?
time.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, that's your that. Yeah,
Oh
we
man.
know you're up for it.
JRPG about to, crown about to get snatched from Omar apparently.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I never played. I never played. What call it? One of the best apparently, which is Final Fantasy um, Tactic. I never played that one.
Oof, man.
I'm not a fan of tactic games like that. That's why. So but apparently that's an amazing Final
That's my
Fantasy
next
that I'm
endeavor
missing out on.
to get Morgan into that too.
Never.
But yeah,
I'm curious. Are there gonna be other summons that we haven't met before? Are they making new ones? But I don't think so. From the look of it, the last two that you're gonna get are gonna be blah blah and blah blah, and that's about it.
so
Wow.
I will say the one thing that I hope they don't take. I hope they're not taking the initial sales for this game as a sign of a good direction because I honestly don't think if they continue this exact direction in the next mainline Final Fantasy, I think it would garner half
Oh,
the
we're getting
sales.
more
They
and
lost.
more like this. It's gonna be great.
They they lost. What's his name? Viper. Viper is done with the franchise.
Yeah. I don't
He
I don't know what they're
and
gonna
this
do.
is on them. I mean, you and this is what it is. If you want to make it an action, but make it a good action.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see
And they
where they go in
failed
the
at it.
future. I mean, thankfully, uh, like like I said, Seven remake going into Rebirth is gonna obviously maintain, um, a lot of what they've done with Seven Art. It's gonna have its own style. It's gonna maintain its own style. Thankfully, so at least we have that.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see if they learn. I mean, sales haven't been finalized yet. It's sold fast so far, but
Apparently, it sold more than 3 mil
no,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
past.
But I'm saying like they
So
haven't been
sales
finalized.
are
Like where
doing
is it gonna
well.
sit when it's done?
Oh,
Because
mm,
I mean, you're talking about the prior game. I think did 15 million or something when it was done.
yeah.
So I'm
50.
interested to see.
How many remakes and remastered for 16 did they 15 did they do?
I mean, they just did Royal. You have the Royal edition, and then you have the regular.
And the regular, yeah.
So I'm interested to see where it ultimately lands.
I um this one it had hype behind it, but then the hype, I not that it died off, it didn't live. Okay. Um, as a Final Fantasy game, does this game live up to the expectation of a Final Fantasy game? NA, go. Yes, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Final Fantasy ass Final Fantasy game. I mean,
Okay,
it can't get much more Final Fantasy than that. I mean,
okay.
Chocobos running through the streets. Summons all over the damn place. Uh, Big ass
No.
crystals.
It is a
You
Final
know,
Fantasy game. No one said it's not.
yeah.
But they just live up to the hype. That's what
I
I'm
mean, I can't tell
questioning.
you that because I'm not done, so we can't really answer that.
Okay.
Yeah, when
So
I'm
we're gonna.
done, yeah, that's a question that's got to be shelved until we're all done. Because I'm
Okay,
obviously
gotcha.
missing elements of the game that I haven't even seen yet. So yeah, I gotta shelve that till I can fully answer that after the game. Is it grand thus far? Absolutely. You know, and in that new tone and mature level direction, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I can't really answer it until we're done, and once we're done, then we can go back to that one.
Revisit it. Cause I also wanna revisit the story, spoilers wise.
Yeah.
Any final things about this whole topic as a whole for anyone?
Nah, let's go play Final Fantasy now.
Okay.
Also, I agree with you. It would have
Uh,
been better as a turn-based game, and niggas ain't. They
then
just ain't gonna face it.
Oh man.
Turn-based for life, bitch.
Yeah,
yeah.
bitch.
After playing this, give me turn base. If
Mhm.
this is the next installment gonna be, give me turn base.
Mhm.
Cause this is not it. Um, let's talk how Twitter is dead. Whoop whoop.
Twitter is dead. The end.
The end.
Mm-hmm.
so,
Like I'm theming right now. Fuck Twitter.
so, Innate, you were listening to the whole concept or whatever debate or talk on that space. What can you tell us? Anything we should know or
I
the
mean,
basics?
like I said, I mean, I know we all use Twitter for obviously gaming news and stuff like that, which is fine. Even that is gonna take a detrimental hit with this restriction in place. Like I said, the biggest problem is uh, quote unquote temporary restriction. No one knows when the hell that is. They obviously already realized it was too limiting and already talking about upping the limit or changing the limit. So it's like the limit was stupid in the first place. It never should have been imposed. And like I said, without a date or time frame, you've got people who are responsible for really, really important things already kind of fleeing towards other platforms, that certain people do actually depend on. I guess somebody was stating there's a user that specifically does like fire alerts and important kind of messaging on a tweet by tweet basis, so that people are aware, possibly updates, where fires are, or issues with certain places that are under wartime, and stuff like that. And just like a ton of stuff is taking hits. I know in particular there was a person who was in the space that is, they apparently report on issues, currently dealing with like the Taliban and stuff. I know people think that's over because America left, but the Taliban's still out there causing a whole bunch of shit and suicide bombings and a bunch of other stuff apparently. Um, so like, yeah, a lot of really important, very serious topics get updated on Twitter because it's a very speedy, very to the point source, and it allowed a lot of people to get notifications for those specific things, should they have needed it. And there's really no other outlet that does it quite like that, and limiting people's accounts, because a lot of these people don't have Twitter Blue, and even if they did, they'd probably still hit that limit. There were a couple of people in there just reporting on things that they do and how they look for certain stories and acquire stories and kind of spread that news via Twitter, and a lot of them get 60%, if not more, of the traffic for their sites, again via Twitter and so on and so forth. So it's honestly just really sad to see, because it's like, ultimately, yeah, I mean, the restriction will probably be removed eventually, whenever the hell that actually ends up being, but it's like the damage is already being done tremendously. Will it ultimately affect our stuff entirely? No, not really, because we use Twitter in a very specific manner. But to listen to the way that some of these people use it and how important that is to getting the messaging out, especially people in other countries, who don't have certain things. Twitter's like one of the few things that's allowed, that they can really get a play by play basis, and it's just like all that's being destroyed like as we speak, and it sucks. So yeah, some
Can't
very serious
imagine.
implications for Elon to play around with his platform, um, you know, whether it's a joke or being funny or whatever, trying to force a bunch of people to get Twitter Blue or what have you. It's definitely running into some very serious issues, that are going to have some long lasting implications, and there's really no alternative for Twitter. So very dangerous,
Okay.
but yeah.
Anyone have anything else to say about this topic? Because I can say anything. Anyone's listening.
I heard, well, not heard, but I've seen some concerns as well, just especially from people who are social media managers. They have to manage Twitter for companies. Like if you're a social media manager for like a gaming company, like if you're a social media manager for Insomniac or Bethesda or whatever, right? Your job is to be on Twitter all day and post and to answer questions and get feedback, and like Twitter is a big component of that. And as if that's your job, and then you're limited to how much you can react and talk to and comment and look and read the people you're interacting with, their replies, it's going to make it pretty hard to do your job as a social media manager. So
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting to see how, like, Elon, he has this thing like where he likes to try things out for like a day or two or a week, and then he sees how bad it is, and then it immediately reneges on it. And so I'm just like, I'm just gonna sit back and see how long this lasts before he's like, you know what, guys, we tried this out, never mind, it's not working. Like, I mean, we see funny enough how Instagram has kind of answered to this. Like they did recently put out a like advertisement for their new social media platform that's called Threads or something like that. I guess it's like a Twitter version of Instagram. so
Oh,
it's
I'm
like
so.
so it's like, oh man, they were just waiting for Elon to do something else stupid before they answered with here's, don't worry, Twitter might suck, but we've got the answer for you, don't worry, come over here. So yeah, we'll see how long Elon runs with this dumbass idea before he pulls off, pulls back on it. But yeah.
Yeah,
Wait.
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't even consider the social media manager thing because because you got your personal Twitter, then you've got the stuff you do for the company,
Yeah.
and some of them do multiple companies, and I'm just like,
Mm,
oh my god, what a mess.
yep.
But yeah, go ahead, Weeb. Sorry.
So, anyway, they can unfuck it, or is it done deal?
Hmm?
I
Of
mean,
course,
of
of
I,
course
course
he
they can.
can
He
oh
fuck
said it
it.
yeah,
was.
he unfucks a lot of dumb shit he does.
I mean,
So
he
we'll
said it
see.
was temporary for a reason. The problem is he's as non-specific as the post was about that. Like, when is what is temporary? When is that up? Is temporary 20 hours from now?
un,
Like,
un, un, until he finds developers who he fired, of course, because he fired 90% of his staff, who can fix that issue that he caused by making Twitter unavailable if you're not logged in. That apparently causes traffic to like send hits, 10 hits per second every time somebody tries to basically Twitter is DDoSing itself right now. That's basically what I understand.
oh
Wait,
my
that's
god.
legit?
That's legit. Yeah. So
I saw
so
that, and I'm like, I thought that's a joke.
no, it wasn't a joke, and that's why I said it was funny because that could because he's saying like we're restricting it because of scraping, blah blah, because of basically performance. But the thing is, if this is, and I think this is true, then basically because of that update, uh, they're now experiencing so much traffic that they have to restrict basically the amount of tweets that you can see as a Twitter user uh, because of an issue they caused themselves.
Interesting, that's fascinating.
Well, I mean, that's Elon Musk's business model, right? Fuck around and find out, right?
Yep.
Pretty much.
Okay. Um, Morgan. Oh, no, 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 no. Morgan already went. I think, yeah, everyone went.
Yeah.
Then, the final topic is gonna be Activision Blizzard. I think close for the final time, because we are going there in sense of a decision is going to be made. Um, real talk, I had shit. Let me look at it one time if I can
I
pull
mean,
up
the long
the
and short of
tweet.
it is the transparency of this shows you exactly
Hey,
why
I have.
people shouldn't be having the conversation that don't know what the fuck they're talking about, because the fact that the
Uh,
judge believes that everyone has gaming computers shows you how
yeah,
stupid the people are that are involved with this case that have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
yeah. I don't know how someone like a judge would say something like that and think that's a gotcha moment.
Yeah, she has no idea what the
Where
fuck she's
was the
doing.
FTC? Where was the FTC lawyer? I'm like, Your Honor, this is not true. And not only that, that makes absolutely no sense. And there was one moment where she is like, "Why do you think Jim Ryan doesn't have any issue with Starfield being exclusive?" She said, "Because he's doing the exact same thing." I'm like, "No, he isn't. Final Fantasy 16 being exclusive. That's timed exclusive. Starfield, they literally bought
I
an
don't know about
entire
that.
they
I mean,
literally bought an entire nah. They bought an entire publisher. They even Phil Spencer apparently he is the one that dictates what is and what not exclusive. I mean, the buck stops with him.
Well, I mean, we know
Apparently,
that now that they were forced to sit on the stand and stop lying.
yeah. Apparently, they floated with the idea of making with this stuff exclusive. And they saw how much revenue they're gonna miss out from PlayStation. That's when they changed with the Activision Blizzard situation. Like now, Microsoft have been so freaking scummy. Matt Booty's email alone by itself, where they want to drive PlayStation out of the business.
Yeah, there's
Bef- the
spend Sony out of business, which is literally
I'm
what
like,
I said in the beginning before this even got to Activision. I said that was their plan, and now it's on paper somewhere, just like I said, because that is literally Microsoft's plan. Every single time the parent company takes interest in a specific industry, they purchase as much as humanly possible to buy out as much competition as they can until basically regulators have to come in and stop them. This is literally what they do, and it
apparently
hasn't changed.
they wanted to buy Sega, Square. They have a list of
See,
publishers they want to
I
buy.
told y'all they wanted to buy Sega. I said they getting real buddy buddy with Sega. Like,
No,
yeah.
I don't think they're gonna buy Sega.
Oh, I
They
don't know.
have
I mean,
real.
Sega's already came out and said like we're good being
I
third party.
agree. They have realized they're gonna be able to get Sega on their side without the need of
Without
buying them.
buying them.
They're
They're
I guess
getting their
they're doing the Square treatment with Sega,
Yeah.
like
the difference is
PlayStation Square treatment.
their games are being day one on play on Game Pass. Most of
Well,
them.
yeah. Well, I mean, they're getting the remakes and stuff on there, but the remake and the smaller tactical game, but
Yeah,
not
but I say
Metaphor.
Sega's new game
No,
Metaphor is
Metaphor.
not day one on Game Pass, which was very surprising considering they're just good friends and they love Sega and Sega loves them. I'm
Oh,
like, oh,
so, Bobby Kotick, apparently Microsoft never talked to him about the deal with Nintendo.
Microsoft never talked to a lot of people about a lot of shit they
How
said.
how
yeah, I
you gonna
mean,
make deals without? And this is the thing. After seeing what the judge mentality is, I believe the deal is gonna go through.
Well,
The
I
judge
mean,
is genuinely too stupid.
well,
She
the
is
judge is
not.
too stupid and ignorant towards a lot of the things that are happening within the case. Her son actually
Yes.
works for Microsoft, which should have been she should have been recused from the case
I mean,
immediately. Like I couldn't believe when I
it's
heard that. Your son
USA.
works for who, bitch? Your son,
Yeah.
not your 17th cousin
so your son
removed
texting you like,
Bobby.
yeah,
Not
we
even
need
your
this.
friend,
Yo,
best
you
friend.
know, Phil called that man to the office and was like, so I need you to talk to your mother.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Like,
Exactly. I was like, bro, this is her son.
make sure this shit goes through. All right.
Yeah, you know that nice
You want that
6-figure
raise?
salary you love?
Yeah, you want
You
that
want to keep
raise?
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently, and they call Lena Khan the corrupt.
Yeah, this thing's
So
got money sliding through people's hands all over it.
yeah, Microsoft made social fool of themselves. They contradicted themselves. I'm gonna pull up a few tweets that that
Don't pull up too
explains
many.
that.
You know what I'm saying? You know, you might hit your
So
limit.
future Bethesda name was forecasted to come to PlayStation. However, Phil Spencer decided to make all new Bethesda games exclusive to Xbox in a 2021 meeting. Mind you, this is the same Phil Spencer that said exclusives are anti-consumer. Um,
But he didn't say that publicly though. You see?
yeah,
And
I
again,
keep trying to tell
that's the issue.
people, yeah, that
Yeah.
they really have to stop believing what these companies say at face
I don't
value.
believe.
Like,
I don't
oh, I'm not
believe.
talking about you in particular. I'm
Oh,
just talking
okay,
about the
thank you.
general gaming audience. Like, they really believe that Xbox like cares and they care about the health
So,
of the industry and they want to be everybody's friend. Like, no, they
so
don't.
shout out to Zuby Tech. He broke down the entire Microsoft situation. Oh yeah, don't get me started on Satya Nadella. He shot Microsoft so far in the foot with his comments. It's like, apparently they don't love exclusive, but because PlayStation is doing them, they must do them.
Yeah.
And apparently
Bullshit.
PlayStation is the one that invented exclusive, because
Yes.
Nintendo don't exist.
Yeah, Nintendo exists in a vacuum in the Twilight Zone, evidently.
Yeah, it's a very, he have a very long, what you call it, tweet about that. And talking about um, Jim
Mm.
Ryan. Jim Ryan was never against the deal. He
Well,
just don't care.
well,
He don't want
the
to
issue
get.
is the whole thing is supposed to be about is supposed to be out. Does it negatively affect consumers or why is it good for consumers, right? Well, the largest consumer base for Call of Duty, bar none, is PlayStation. So whether or not the judge is ignorant as wants to hear about how it affects Sony, yeah, it does. It affects PlayStation fans, the largest user base of that product, negatively. And you say that it doesn't because you're like, oh well, they're gonna commit to bringing it, for the next 10 years. Okay, so in 10 years, when they rip that shit off of PlayStation and be like, you can access it via the cloud, PC, and Xbox, don't, and then I fucking say I told you so. Where's that judge now? Like that's the problem. Like they're
Yeah,
looking at it as not
apparently.
a negative because they're like nothing's gonna change. It's just that Microsoft's gonna own it, and it's like if you believe that, I'm I'm telling you, I got some waterfront property for you out here in Arizona, ready to go. You're a fucking idiot.
She is. Either that or she is bought. There is absolutely if she agrees to this, because Microsoft literally here, Microsoft would love to get rid of exclusive, but blame Sony for having defined market competition using exclusivity, according to CEO Satya Nadella. I have no love for that world. Your brand is built around exclusive. Did they forget 360?
I mean,
Your one,
apparently they don't
two of your
acknowledge any of that.
two of your biggest IPs are exclusive, which is Forza and Halo. You took them. They were never meant to be Xbox only, right?
You said what was it?
Uh, Halo and Gears were not
Well,
an
Gears
Xbox
was
IP.
Gears was a bot exclusive. I don't know about Halo. Gears was purchased
I
as
think
exclusivity, and then they purchased them outright with the
I
IP.
think Halo was also a exclusivity.
Yeah, I think it was bought. Halo was bought too, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, pretty much
and
everything they've ever gotten that's exclusive was bought outright. So yeah,
so um so here apparently Bobby Kotick is not a fan of service services, which makes sense. And
which
he
is why
Of
they
told
course
want
he's
to
not.
and
purchase
also,
So
them.
why? How I think he's
and
gonna get all his
also
money and pay for his
he
vacation
doesn't
homes?
he
Exactly.
doesn't even want he doesn't even want the deal to go through. If
Nah, he
it's
does because that's gonna be a big check for him. He
Yeah,
I
wants
he
mean
that.
yeah he don't care.
he does. In one comment, he mentioned how everything that Microsoft doing, he would never do
No,
himself.
he would never do it, but he's still willing to get bought out because
Oh
regardless,
yeah, because they're gonna
it's the
make money out
shareholders
of it.
and they're
Yeah,
gonna make the money. Yeah, because
Hmm.
but
ultimately it's always about making money, always.
Yeah,
Phil Spencer was thinking about dropping Xbox for mobile. Like,
I mean, they probably would have made more money.
yeah. So here's the thing. It's we are me. I am all over the place with this one, but you need to realize there is almost like an entire week of information that's been surfacing around, and
Yeah, apparently
to
though. Oh my bad. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I don't mind.
Apparently, the leaker who shared that Persona 3 Reload and Persona 5 Tactic were coming before they were announced, he has come out and said that Persona 6 codename is Carbon and that it could be a PS5 exclusive because they've only seen the PS5 version thus far.
Ooh.
So
That would
take
be
that
such
with
a.
a grain of salt. I mean, he was correct on the remakes, so
I believe.
we shall
I
see.
believe.
which is why I still said that would be really
So
funny,
what
despite
you
all
thought?
that
Which would be
nonsense
so
the
funny
CEO
with
said.
all this
What
love
you
that the Sega CEO gave for Xbox. That would be hilarious. You know?
Yeah, which
um
did you see his image for the record? Is he? I feel like is he a new CEO? Because he looked kind of young.
so
Oh,
what you
I
thought
don't know.
on so Microsoft wanting so if there's a deal okay we need to so I never knew that Microsoft was to this degree. I thought maybe they're gonna buy a few things, but like no. They want to buy everyone and everything.
Bro, I told you that early on. I told you this is what
Apparently,
Microsoft does,
apparently, Ember Lab is on the radar, which as they should, because it's an amazing studio
and
with
they
one
already
game.
told everybody no. Thankfully,
They should have gone to PlayStation, but hey,
yeah. Which they said they wanted to remain independent. Which I'm like, yeah,
I'm like, okay, you do you. But if you're gonna, I'm gonna look at you very, with a very different set of eyes. If all of a sudden you join Microsoft,
yeah. I mean,
What are
Microsoft
you
is
talking about?
Ember Labs because they were on that
no,
Oh,
list.
I think he's joking. Um, what you thought on them wanting to buy Square?
I mean, it made sense. I mean, they outlined it. Good.
Um, yeah, it makes sense, but it's like they're already getting a good deal right now, so I don't know if PlayStation even wants to or feel they need to. Like
And
they're getting the big games right now without having to buy them. So
no,
I
I'm
mean,
talking about
Microsoft.
oh,
Microsoft
Microsoft. Oh,
buying Square. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Square would laugh them out the room to be honest, but no, I don't see Square doing that at all. No,
yeah.
with Microsoft,
For
no.
the money, for the right money, I think they might.
Well, no, they
Yeah,
had.
no.
So
Well,
again,
I mean, you also have to think about the fan base of Square too, which a
No,
lot of it
no,
is.
no, 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 no. If you alienate an entire fan base when it comes to your game, when you which is a Final Fantasy, and make it actiony, I don't think Square cares about their fan base. They
No,
only care about one
I'm
thing.
not talking about us. I'm talking about Japan, sir. Nobody in Japan owns an Xbox. Like, what they about to do with that? Like,
Mm,
no, I don't see that
yeah,
happening.
I don't. I know they had the plan that got shown that talked about acquisition, but I think the main reason it was canceled, number one, because they couldn't get it done, but also because ultimately they realized that is not going to just make people magically love you and that's what they're essentially looking for with these acquisitions. They're looking to take stuff out of the running that would do massive damage.
And yeah, I don't see Xbox going to Square because I think they realize that Square and PlayStation are too synonymous, and they like there's not really a foothold they can get in with Square. So that's why I would see more likely
lady,
them coming for like Sega,
they,
somebody they already have a good relationship with, who would they be able to
I,
get a foothold in Japan.
Exactly.
we always, at least I always thought that PlayStation or Ninja Theory fit with PlayStation
Man, that
because
was one
PlayStation
game. Stop it.
always stood with them.
You can't compare Ninja Theory to Square Enix. That's not the same. Oh my.
Yeah,
Um,
Ninja Theory was also independent, so
Yeah, they were
they
independent.
were
We
independent.
had one game that was exclusive. That's not anything close to the
No,
relationship that
no, no,
Square
no.
and
It
PlayStation had.
we had a lot of we had one game timed, one game exclusive, and one game timed, and they are the ones that
Again,
stood
that's
with Ninja Theory when
how
Ninja
are you
Theory
going to
wanted to
compare
win.
that with like 20 years of a relationship with Square Enix? Like
yeah,
that's not the same. Oh
Square's a
my.
whole different bag.
That's not anywhere close.
Fair. Um, but Microsoft wanted to buy Square. What do you think they're gonna do if this deal doesn't go through?
Go on a buying spree. What you mean? They're gonna take the money they couldn't get or they couldn't use for Activision, and they're gonna go down that list of the other studios that they've been keeping their eye on, and they're gonna go one by one and see what they can do and try to acquire. Like they're just gonna go on a buying spree. Like I
Are
could
they gonna
like
be able to? Are they gonna be able
yeah.
to do stuff? Well, wouldn't regulators stop them?
No, because none of the studios that they showed on that list were like anywhere close to Activision size, and the only reason they're coming after Activision is because of the scale and how big of a publisher and how like buying them would affect the game could potentially affect the gaming industry. Like if they're buying stuff like Asobi and like I don't know what the other like they got a bunch of indie studios that they listed on
Nah,
there. If
nah, 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 nah. I'm talking publishers, not
I mean, there's not
studios. I'm talking publishers.
there's not really anyone else besides Japanese publishers at that point. Like they're not gonna they can't that like what's his name whatchamacallit is not gonna sell to them Tencent nor Embracer Group. So the only people who would
Tencent
be
been on a
left,
buying spree.
What if real talk?
I could
What
see
if
Embracer
they
Group selling them
buy?
Crystal Dynamics though.
What if they
Yeah,
buy
but
Embracer Group?
Omar does have a point. Is that if this deal gets blocked, it's not that it means that they can just buy anything else. They might be more cautious because they know that that they if it gets blocked, they will lose like what was it,
three billion.
$3 billion because they have to. Yeah,
More
so
than 3 billion. But come
yeah
on, that's nothing for
yeah, but
Microsoft.
yeah, okay, but that's still a shit ton of money that they're losing for nothing. Like they can't keep doing that for any other deal that might get blocked. And these regulators are wisening up. Like they were sleeping with Bethesda, but now they're actively trying to
Oh
push
yeah,
back. So,
yeah, they were
you
asleep
know,
before.
Not all of them. Look at you,
if
EU. EU agreed it.
yeah,
Like,
fuck the EU, but CMA,
ah,
uh, you know, the FTC is suing them. Canada is also come out and
Mm-hmm.
said like we are we are the same opinion as the FTC. So that shit is not gonna fly as much as as it used to. And if they're just gonna say, oh, okay, well, Activision did go through, we're gonna buy another publisher.
Yeah, you can't just
They're
open up
gonna
the
be
banana
scrutinized
clip and
again.
start shooting everybody because you didn't get the one deal. Like they're gonna be paying
Yeah.
attention to that more than ever now.
Because the thing is, like there are I think analysts who are said like if Microsoft if that deal does go through, that might actually be it. Microsoft might actually decide we're going to get out of gaming or at least get out of the console business.
I don't think they're gonna do that. They, cause otherwise they would have done it when with the mobile. I do think if they don't get
No,
that,
no,
they're
no,
gonna
no.
try.
Hold on. No, that doesn't really follow because at that point they turned it around by going all the way to the service, right? That they went with Game Pass, and that is not paying off the way they're hoping it's paying off. And the way they want to remedy that is by getting Activision because then they have that killer app. Then they have Call of Duty, and that's gonna save Game Pass. That's what they're thinking. That's gonna make it work. If they're not gonna get that killer app, then nothing else will. Then at that point, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but that's what they're speculating, and it makes sense that they at that point going to decide, okay, look, this is not going to work. Like if we can't get Call of Duty, and nothing else will work, then this is the end. We're going to quit. Microsoft has
Interesting.
done it before.
So
It's not. It wouldn't be the first time they've bought a fucking company and killed it.
True.
so you think it's a do or die for them?
I just think
Uh,
they need to sit back. If they lose this deal,
yeah.
they just need to sit back. They need to get their shit in order internally and start delivering some of these games. That's what they need to do. Because right now they ain't delivering shit.
I mean, their fan base are eating it up. They don't give a fuck.
Well, no,
Come on.
because these people are not really gamers. They just want to play list
Yeah, they
war. They
know.
want to play list wars on Twitter and make memes. Of Phil dancing with grocery bags. That say publisher and studios. so they can list more things underneath the green team while not actually being delivered shit game wise because these people don't game. They want to spend all day in
They
fucking
don't game.
spaces talking shit and not gaming. Like these people are just not gamers, bro. They're not. And the few things that
They're
they
not.
are playing are just multi-platform shit like Apex Legends and stuff, which is why these people ultimately really don't care what happens. They for all they care, the industry could implode and they wouldn't care.
They wouldn't care. Um. Okay. Let's say the deal goes through. What will happen then?
I mean,
Is it fair
that
to
depends
say
on how it
then
goes through.
Pandora box is opened?
I mean, you definitely can't tell the other people no. I mean, I
Well,
think Microsoft is kind of done at that point, acquiring anything for a bit, because I mean
no,
they're gonna hold them back. So
no, 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 no,
no,
no,
no, no, I'm not. No, no,
no,
wait.
no.
You mixing it up. Wait, wait. You're mixing up them not wanting to stop with being told no. Being told no by regulators is a full stop. You're not. You, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You just got
We
the biggest acquisition in all of entertainment history. Sit your ass down in the corner and do not approach my bench again for the next decade. That is what I'm saying.
we
Everybody else
Yeah, I
has to
think they'll
come.
still
we
acquire.
know.
They'll still get smaller studios because I
Yeah,
mean, they've said that they're going to be acquiring, but I don't see them going after like someone like Sega if they get Activision. Like
but
it's just
still
too
they're gonna
much.
acquire. Like
Of
they're
course,
not gonna
but
stop.
it's yeah, but it'll be smaller. It'll be smaller scale studios, like I said, like Asobo and Play Dead, and like it'll be smaller. So nobody's gonna pay attention. Nobody's gonna care. Like
Yeah,
it's gonna be small scale studios.
like they purchased plenty of shit that none already that studios that
Yeah,
none of us really play games from. So I mean, there's plenty of studios out there that they could be looking at that.
no, there's plenty of smaller independent studios that I'm sure are looking to get acquired and help with funding for their games. So Xbox will be there to pick them up.
Hmm. Just
Yeah, like they want people to comply. Apparently, they
Yeah, I
floated the
mean,
idea.
well, they have to feed the beast that is Game Pass, and to do that, you have to keep acquiring and keep acquiring. You have to have a constant flow of games. That's why they can't, like Sony, rely on third-party deals because they need content on their subscription to keep it relevant and keep people subscribed. So, in order to do that, and the easiest and cheapest way to do that is to own all these studios, and so you can just have them in their first party. You don't have to take them off. You don't have to make a deal like, okay, we'll keep it on for 3 months and then we have to take it off of the subscription, or we'll keep it on for a year, but we have to pay 50 million to keep it on for the year. Like, no, they just might as it's faster and cheaper to just buy these studios and IPs outright and just put it in the service and have it like, and they're not looking for one specific type of game or one specific type of genre because you have to be able to appease everyone and get everyone to try to subscribe to your service. So you have to offer uh a different variety of games, which is why Xbox is okay with smaller double A and single A games, and acquiring those studios and letting them make those type of games because they need everything. So, I mean, that's what makes Microsoft kind of dangerous right now. Is just this seamlessly endless wallet that they have, and their need to um, get as many games and as many studios in their pocket as they can right now.
But isn't it funny though that it came out that what we said was true? Eventually, the whole point of this is Microsoft is tired of paying money to have things put in Game Pass that they do not own. We said that
Yeah,
because that money is not infinite and they don't want to spend. There is an
yeah.
allocated amount
So yeah,
and
so I
they don't
say
want
it's
to
like a
spend it.
cheaper option to just buy it outright instead of having to pay and then only having it on your platform for a set period of time. Like you can only have this game A for 3 months, but it'll cost you $50 million for it to be on the subscription for 3 months. Well, if the studio is only worth like 200 million or something, I might as well just buy it and it'll just be cheaper. I can keep it on there for as long as I want.
But see,
So
Xbox fans told us the bag was infinite for whatever they wanted to buy, however they wanted to buy
yeah,
it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's
At
like,
the end
no,
of the
we said
day,
they're going to get tired of bleeding that money, and
yeah.
they already
I
tired of it.
mean, at the end of the day, it's a
Have we
business, and a
also
business is point of the business is to make
Make
money. And if they're
money.
spending it and in the red all the time, the shareholders aren't going to be happy. Just because you have the bag doesn't mean you necessarily want to spend it. They're $1 trillion company, and you want to keep it that way. Like they're
mm,
not
Exactly.
trying to get knocked down to a billion. Like they're like, you know what I'm saying, to a $1 billion company or whatever. So yes, they don't have an issue right now of being in the red because they're trying to get the service started and get everything. But once they get everything is full throttle and they get those horses hitched, and we've already seen it kind of start with the increase of the price of Game Pass. It was subtle, but it's gonna keep increasing like all these subscription services increase.
mm,
Yep.
And once that happens, and like they get the cadence down, and they start delivering, whether it's quality or not, but they start just at least delivering consistently, dropping first party games into that service. Yeah, you're gonna see that price rise
Hmm.
yeah.
like a
So
motherfucker.
you guys saw the information that apparently Microsoft pays for exclusivity to put this will be put on Game Pass and prevent it from going to other systems.
Yeah.
You guys saw
Which
that?
we
Yeah,
also knew
I mean, but the
existed.
thing is, I like that's
They
crazy. They already knew they were
they
doing
said
that,
that's what
Yep.
PlayStation is doing. When in fact
and
Microsoft is the one that's doing it.
that's what made
PlayStation
it.
don't even do that now, that much.
Yeah, and that's what made it so crazy to me because when that whole problem came out, like, oh man, PlayStation's money had and keeping games, like if it's on their subscription, it can't come. I was so confused because I'm like, I thought doesn't Xbox do that same thing? Like whenever a game's on Game Pass, you don't see it show up on PS Plus until like it's off.
Tunic,
And I was like, it's
Tunic,
common sense that they have a
Tunic,
contract that says it can't be on another service. Like,
right? Tunic.
High on
And there's
life.
yeah, yeah.
another
Like
one.
I thought that was just common sense. So I was surprised when people were like, "Oh yeah, see, we told." I was like, "I've been said that they do that. Like it's just common practice in business. Like if you have something in a subscription service, you obviously don't want other people to have it because you want to draw people to your subscription service. So of
And
course it's going to be exclusive."
apparently Microsoft invested in Valheim and other stuff where they wanted to be exclusive. So it's not like Microsoft against exclusive. It's just they don't know which exclusive to pick that helps them. Like for
Well,
example, Kena.
that's the
They
real
get
problem.
a game like Kena, but then get a game like Valheim.
Yeah, it's so funny because me and Nate were talking about that the other day when the list of studios that Microsoft was possibly looking at to acquire came out. I was like, oh, it's funny how a lot of those studios are studios that made PlayStation exclusives. And I was like, it seems to me like they realize they're not really good at picking out what games to make exclusive,
No,
like to bring as time exclusive to their platform. So they're kind of just like
not that.
looking at PlayStation and being like, all right, they picked Kana, they picked Stray, they did this, so let's invest in those studios. Let's go get those because apparently PlayStation's a little better at picking out which games are successful and which ones will take off.
No,
I thought that was
Exactly.
kind of funny.
I don't think that's the case. I think the case they want to hurt PlayStation
No, no,
I mean, maybe
because
that's what she's saying, that they're targeting it because they see PlayStation. It's a twofold thing. PlayStation picks the
it is a
best.
two-fold thing. Yeah,
PlayStation picks the best,
It is.
and by acquiring them, they prevent them from gaining more from
Mhm.
that
It's like, oh,
studio
they
in the
like
future.
Kana, okay, let's take that. Oh, they like
Yeah,
Stray, okay, let's take that.
Yeah,
Oh, they like this game, okay, let's. I'm just like, I laughed when I saw that list. I was like, oh man, these are a lot of games and studios that made PlayStation exclusives. Like, this is so funny. I was like, yes, Microsoft ain't slick with that shit. Like,
yeah. It was literally a PlayStation hit list. That's literally
it
what it
was.
was.
It was.
It really was. That's what made me laugh. I was like, oh yeah, Microsoft playing the petty game. Okay.
Yeah, like I told you, they moving out here like mobsters. When the mobsters sue,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna
And
give you
until
an
you see
offer
with
you
that
can't
smile talking
refuse.
about, we're all friends out here. We don't have any problem with PlayStation. We're all friends out here.
Yeah,
We don't see them as competition.
yeah. PlayStation's not our competition.
We have our place. Their first place, and we have our place, and we just want a place here. And I'm just like, see, this is why I don't be believing anything that that man says. I was like,
I told
because
you under
in those
oath all the
emails,
truth.
it reveals how he really feels about PlayStation, how him and Matt Booty and like how
Oh
much
yeah.
they loathe PlayStation and want to just like put them like at the bottom where they are, and they want to be at the top. And I'm just like, see, I always knew that's how you feel. Like, there's nothing wrong with feeling that way. It's just the fakeness. Like, don't try to come at
It,
me with a smile when that's not when you got
mm,
a knife behind your
When
back. Like, don't do
everyone
that.
plays, we all win. That's what it says on the back of the controller I have. That's
mm,
what it says. Well, not the one I have because I took
Just
that
like,
shit
I
off.
just
But
hate that fake shit. Stop
yeah,
with the fake shit. Like, ugh.
no, Morgan, it's a
Like, if you
case
want
by
to be
case
cutthroat,
basis.
by all means, be cutthroat. Like, I'm all about the cutthroatness. I love it when PlayStation gets cutthroat. Xbox, you should be cutthroat too. Just stop being fake with the, oh yeah, we're here for everyone and we want everyone to play, and we don't mind when PlayStation
when
plays our
everyone
games. So we put
play,
them on
we
the
all
platform.
play. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
that
their
bullshit.
fans
Like,
trying to
come on.
gaslight us, telling us, "No, that's not what they meant." I'm like, yo, don't gaslight me, bro.
But
I
yeah,
know what
they
that
are
man
the
said.
kings and queens of gaslighting. Like, that's not what he meant. Yeah, we know what he meant.
Hmm.
So at the end, um, you guys think the deal gonna go through or not?
I still think it might. Yeah.
I mean, it's looking like a
I
strong
think
possibility. I just think if the FTC has their way, it's going to have a strong concession with
Yeah,
all
I think
current
it's gonna go
IPs.
through with concessions.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
not just going to be Call of Duty. It's going to be it needs to be all current IPs. Now, if they go through and they make new IPs with Activision in the future, fine. But all current IPs that are multi-platform and available need to be maintained that way. Whether it's
it's like, okay, we'll
Overwatch.
keep Overwatch 1 and 2 multiplayer, but Overwatch 3 is gonna be exclusive.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like all that has
no.
to be maintained in the deal.
Apparently, Overwatch 2 is not even on PlayStation. They don't. They want to take it off.
I mean,
You want to take
I
it
This
off
didn't
of
is
I didn't see
PlayStation?
this
that,
is what
but
uh, this is what Jim Ryan was angry about. Like
wait, when did that
they
come out
want
that they
to
wanted to
take
remove Overwatch?
Could they actually
Yeah, I'm
remove
like
it?
I'm not
Like,
even really sure
that's
how that would
weird.
they
work.
no they wanted to remove Overwatch 2. It was no longer
Are you talking
going to
about
be
Outer Worlds?
no Overwatch.
Bro,
I think
Overwatch is already
Overwatch.
launched though.
Yeah, I know, but they want to take
But
it
that's weird.
away.
I've
Yeah, I'm
never
not
heard of
sure. I'm
somebody
not
No,
doing
it's
that
not
where they
Overwatch.
release
It's
something
not
on a
Outer
platform.
World. It's literally Overwatch 2
I hear
in
you,
the.
but I've never heard of a
I've
platform
never
holder releasing a game on a platform and then
taking
taking it
it
off.
But
away.
That's
that's the thing. But
weird.
that's the thing. Give me a second. I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah, I was like,
It's
I
not
think it's
Overwatch.
Yeah,
It's
being
especially
not
something
Outer
that's like
World.
a huge like live service game. That seems really weird. Like, why would
the
you remove a big
implications.
chunk of your player base? Like that.
Yeah,
That seems like, and that seems like it would cause a lot of problems for the game itself.
yeah,
Doing that,
money
like you
wise,
have
like people
to,
who have spent money,
yeah,
like that would cause so many issues.
yeah. But all the people, exactly, the people who spent all that money on like characters and stuff, and like, what, you just gonna reimburse them the hundreds of dollars they spent, or yeah, it just seems kind of weird. I feel like that would affect servers and stuff too. They have to like rework it to like, I don't know. It just seems like it'd be weird.
I remember reading somewhere that where Jim Ryan was not a fan of, and when he called it inadequate, it's because they
I don't know. I feel
wanted
like
to
you might be
remove.
talking about the other game that Nate said,
No, it's not Outer Wilds. No, it's not Outer Wilds. I'm pretty sure.
It can't be Overwatch though.
Outer
It's
World.
launched already.
Because
You can't
Outer Wild,
revoke a
because
game
Outer
that's out
Yeah.
Wild.
already.
Okay, I'm looking.
Outer World is Obsidian, so they already own that.
Outer Wild
Yeah.
is Obsidian, precisely.
I'm just saying, how do you take off a game
Yeah,
that's already
yeah.
out, though?
I wanted to talk about this one. Sorry, Morgan. Go ahead and I will go.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm just confused as how you take a game off that's already launched. But okay.
But I
So
still think it's going to be blocked, by the way.
Oh, you do?
okay, we will
Okay.
see. So Microsoft wanted to cancel day one. Yo, they know, they know they fucked up, but they can do that because they would alienate their fan base to such degree. It's over.
For what? What are you talking about?
Microsoft uh, floated with the idea of canceling day one,
Oh
day and
yeah,
date.
yeah. We know they can't do that because that's how they bred their fan base. So their fan base are expecting day one. What little Xbox fan base they have left, um,
No, what
So
I'm talking about is Microsoft wanted to cancel that.
no, I know. That's what I said. But they can't, is what I said, because they bred their fan base to expect that, and you can't give these people all this stuff and then just start taking it away. That's the problem. Microsoft starts all these bullshit endeavors, and then they see how bad it cannibalizes, their sales and a bunch of other stuff, and then they have an issue with it, and then they wanna renege, and you can't.
Yeah, so here, Jim, Overwatch was on the list of games that would still be on PlayStation. Overwatch 2 wasn't.
Yeah, I think they just mean Overwatch the franchise, dude, because it's launched already. You
No,
can't
but
you
this is
can't revoke
up
it.
to, but that's what Phil Spencer sent to Jim Ryan.
Yeah, but
No, he
it's
literally said
that's.
Overwatch, but Overwatch 2 isn't.
I think you're concerning it when Overwatch 2 wasn't launched yet. Overwatch 2 is launched already, so you can't revoke a title that's already launched. Like that's not a thing. That has literally never happened, like
Oh,
ever.
so apparently, here it is. Jim is worried that the Overwatch 2 won't be supported because it's not listed. Overwatch is listed because the deal was made before Overwatch 2 launched.
It
Now he
so
is
there you
worried
go.
Overwatch 2 won't be
Okay, so
supported.
this is before
Yeah.
Overwatch.
That's what
Okay,
I
it makes
said.
more sense. I
Yeah,
thought you meant now. I was like, that's so weird.
that's
What?
why I said Overwatch 2 is already launched now. Like that's not a yeah. The same way, like
Mm.
the Outer Worlds has gotten the updates. I was like, even though Outer Worlds 2 is going to be exclusive or whatever, like they're not de-supporting the Outer Worlds on PlayStation. I mean, they did a bad job of it apparently because the recent update for PS5 was apparently broken, and I still don't think they fixed it. But yeah,
But yeah, I believe after how what you call it, incompetent the judge is at best. I'm being generous with this one. It was bought out. I believe that it is gonna go through. At least from the FTC case. I mean, from the USA case. And I'm
we'll
not sure
see.
if that's enough or they need the TMA also.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they need the
But
FTC,
yeah,
so if it gets blocked here, it's a wrap. So
I think we covered everything. Not everything, one last thing. So the studio that created the Golem, that Lord of the Rings spin-off,
yeah, they're gonna be
apparently they're
publishing
now
now.
publishers and no more, not the developers anymore. I'm like, how am I going to trust you to publish a game when you couldn't even create one?
I mean, those who can't do, coach. So, I mean, I guess that's what they're doing now.
I mean, but will it not be a case of like what Microsoft did? They can't make good games, so buying, so publishing one and relying others on doing so. They don't. When look at Bethesda, their games after being published by Microsoft now. Look at what do you call it? Um, Redfall. They allowed Redfall to be released the way it is. They treated Redfall the way they treat their own franchises. They don't know. They have zero, what you call it, vision how to create, how to make it. So I don't think it's gonna work with this top publisher. Hey, who knows? Maybe Microsoft gonna buy them and give them funding. But with that being said, let's get to the outro because I really wanna
Yeah, Final
finish
Fantasy time.
I really wanna finish that game. Yeah, I've been farming for what you call it, uh, skill points, and I just wanna move on now because the story is good, real good.
The story of what is really good.
Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, okay.
God, pay attention, Nate.
Yeah.
Look, man,
And
it was
you
getting
can grow.
it was getting to the end of happy hour, and I needed to order food. So I don't know what to tell you. And Omar decided to extend it when he was about to end it, so that's his fault.
Dude, tell me you
Oh
need to
man.
end it and I would have ended it.
No, I mean, you're fine. I was just ordering food, but yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna order without ordering for us?
It's happy hour, and they don't deliver. The delivery charge for delivering to the Netherlands might be kind of crazy.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Also,
yeah,
it'd be
I never
cold.
would about that.
I don't think you want sushi after it's flown through whatever customs.
To be fair, I don't eat sushi, so yeah, there's that.
Oh man.
There
But
you
they
go.
put mustard
Yeah,
on pizza though.
I'm not fan of fish in general. I'm not fan of seafood in general.
Oh, okay.
The only
Well,
seafood that I eat is shrimp, but it need to be prepared fried chicken style.
So you like popcorn shrimp? You like
no.
deep
Yeah.
fried shrimp?
Nah, apparently though, they were like, oh, it's 3 to 5, not 3 to 6, and I was like, then update the website, mother. I was like, oh my god,
That's what you get.
like, I hate people. But yeah, so yeah, that's fun. So I'm ordering food later, apparently.
Aw.
Yeah, it's fine. Back to Final Fantasy 16.
Yep.
You ready to end it?
By the way, since you're getting that good of dodging, wait till you get this one ring that make dodging really fantastic.
Oh, that thing that slows down time. You press R1.
Yeah,
I don't want that though, because I used that in the demo.
now trust
and-
me, you want it because it's very helpful.
Yeah, I know, but if I just felt like it kind of handicapped me, and I just didn't. I was like, I want to get good
No,
at the
no, no,
dodge
no,
by
no, no,
myself.
no, 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 no. You no. It's not the one for noobs. No, this one. When you when you dodge on time, you get extra boost, and your damage. You get extra boost damage, and also you become a little bit faster, and you start doing more damage and stuff like that.
Here,
Mhm.
playing on easy mode.
But yeah, let's end it.
Oh
Outro.
dang!
Wait,
Salty's
where people
view
can
on
find
Final
you?
Fantasy 16. Jeez,
You said salty what?
his view on Final Fantasy 16. People
Oh.
do not like it.
Oh yeah, he absolutely fucking hated it, and I just laughed because
Shout out to Salty.
and I just laughed because I was like I was like, why are people bent out of shape for no
Why are they mad?
reason?
Like, it's
Like-
not like if you don't like it, that's okay.
Yeah, like who fucking cares? Like this is the shit I be talking about before we get to the outros. That people literally getting bent out of shape about someone's opinion about something that they like. Why does it matter?
Yeah, it's
Like,
crazy.
Oh, I
If you
bought
guys
I
don't
bought my
like
dream
16
car the other day, the new BMW X5 or whatever, but Tina doesn't like it. How dare that bitch? Like I'm gonna take it back because she doesn't like it. Like that's what people act like when somebody doesn't like something a game that they like. Like
And they're all upset because he got like as many QT, like, quote tweets as he does likes. He's like 300. He's got 300 quote tweets, and these people are so upset.
oh
Like,
yeah, they live it.
no, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. You can still like the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Oh, I guess Weeb, you're up first. Outros.
Oh,
Yeah, we where people can find you.
well, if Twitter is still there, you can find me there as the Weep Sheriff at Infinite Rhizome. I hope. Uh, and yeah, great show, and of course, Other Nation.
Otter Nation.
Morgan, wait for your time. Thank you very much.
Oh, dang. Okay.
I mean, to be fair, you did say it after it was done, so go ahead. Where people find you.
Yeah. People can also find me on Twitter, hopefully, at Chill Bandit. You know, talking about games, ignoring everything else. Good show today. Good topics. Hopefully, maybe by the time we come back next week, we'll all have finished Final Fantasy 16 and we can, really discuss the pros and the cons of the game. But yeah, great topics today. Good discussion. Good back and forth. And see you guys next Saturday.
Gotcha. And Nate, where people can find you.
Yeah, as we've said, on Twitter at Thrillinate, provided Twitter hasn't fully imploded by then. Um, yeah, and as of this moment, playing Final Fantasy 16 and eating sushi in about 2 hours because the place
This man is salty.
forgets to update their damn happy hour rules, like an idiot. So yeah, that's fun. But yeah, until then, playing Final Fantasy. Peace.
Did Elon Musk buy them too?
I'm telling you, man. Yo, yeah, that happy hour too long, bro. Cut that short. Cut that short. That's too much happy hour. You only need one happy hour a day. That's gonna be right before close. You know what I'm saying? So we can get that last minute rush.
Hmm.
Like, oh my god, man.
This
This
good is salty. But yeah, as for me, people can find me at Carbon Code on Twitter and gameplay, no, and Vitamin G podcast every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Shout out to the crew that came through. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Viper that is enjoying his vacation. And yeah, see you next week. Hopefully by next week, every single one of us would have finished 16. Which real talk with how big the game is, I doubt it, because it is big. Um, but yeah, if 16 is done by next week, then we're gonna do a spoiler cast, because we absolutely need for this one. Talk the pros and the cons with the story. And with that being said, feel free to end it tonight.